rhythm. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, take a second, hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us on all social media at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord link for that's in the description box down below.
Well, Monday it is, guys. Not a very victorious Monday, as their season has ended, and we have to face the reality of what's next here for this team, which heads down, out of now everything. As other teams today were also knocked out. But I don't care. I don't care about the Eagles losing and all that stuff. It's the Cowboys, and
it's hard to feel any joy in that victory. At least the Eagles had a few weeks to kind of prepare themselves to suck. For us,
they were the fifth seed, So
anyway. We'll
get into it. But, hey, listen, this is a season-ending rant about this team. And we're going to talk about what's next in the future as well. But it's a lot more that's going to be discussed a lot more. We got a lot of time to fucking discuss that. Let's be real. Sorry, YouTube censors.
Yeah, more time than we expected to have.
So anyways, let's roll on in here, baby. As we kick it off, we have a new week with new winners, real winners here.
That's right.
At MCF. And it comes to our leaderboards. And the guy who's taken over the whole thing here when it comes to the sponsor of the week and the Cash App board. 4 weeks in a row for the Cash App, by the way. You know why he's here.
Snug X.
Yeah.
Huge shout out. Appreciate you, Snug, of course. Not the only one representing, right? You have Jason Renfro up above with 9 points left on the Stream Boss.
Hanging on. He's in there. And $10 holler takes the Stream Boss from Jason Renfro. And if you look above that, you've seen the current leaderboard, of course. It's empty right now. Although we may get some other people here in the membership side up on there by tomorrow. But when it comes to the gifting leaderboard, the man staying skeptical. Skeptical fan takes the board back. The overall 3 months in a row he had the overall record there when it comes to the gifting board. In our short history, we've had it at 6 months. Well, he has another week under his belt, taking it back. Much love, the skeptical fan, the gifting champion. I think he had 7 touchdowns. That's all he needed to capture the gifting crown this week. So much love, the skeptical fan. Snug X on both those boards. Jason Renfro with the 9 on it still in the Stream Boss. So appreciate all you guys. And since it is a new week, as far as the leaderboard, it is currently 100% empty. Like the way this season ended for our Cowboys.
It's a brand new week.
Yeah. So again, like the season ended for our Cowboys, by the score of 48-32 against the Packers at home when we were undefeated 16 goddamn games in a row. The same referee that did the last game we lost at home, which was against the Buccaneers, and Dak broke his finger in 2022, the first game of the year. The next time he did our game was this one. Took an L of this one too, and nothing to do with the refs in either game, honestly.
Yes.
So, anyways, moving on, guys. We will be, of course, shouting out those that represent this board here on the nightly in the sense of the membership side of things.
Yeah, thank you to Navy Blue and Silver.
Yes.
But that star level membership and over everything gets you some perks like the nightly shout outs here. So thank you to Skeptical Fan, Jason Renfro, Lincoln Kane, Mary Alvarez, Andy Potched, Marissa Sparkle, Dwayne Broussard, The Lunatic, and Seabass.
Over everything. Much love. Appreciate all you guys. And also, the way you drop the love here helps support the channel. You know how to do it, guys. The super chats, of course, see at the bottom right of your screen in the chat area. But you also have the thanks button for any videos. You have jumping in the membership. Like I said, people out there, like Truth Bomb and others will be probably getting in that membership, and for another month. So they'll be on that board probably by tomorrow. When we go live again. So much love to them jumping in the membership once again. But also those that gift memberships, like Skeptical Fan and many others. Appreciate you guys on those different ways of dropping the love here on My Cowboys Family. But there's 4 other ways you can jump into the Cash App specific board, right?
Of course, you have the Cash App, money sign My Cowboys Family, the Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and the Streamlabs link lets your comment show up on screen like a super chat.
So now we're done with all that, all the formalities. Let's get, we're gonna get into this. It's gonna be a little different now for us here at My Cowboys Family, and it's
we'll get into that in just a few minutes.
Yeah, it was always gonna be planned that way, but it's gonna be different in the sense of like this is a rant and more of a bounce off discussion situation when it comes to what happened yesterday and the debacle in Dallas. So before we get there, though, who's in the house tonight, baby? Still repping the truest fans, repping that star over everything.
It's easy to rep that star when things are going well. So extra special credit to everybody here chilling in the chat with us when things are pretty much the worst they could possibly be.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Justin D, appreciate you. Sky Johnson, hello and hi. Bama fan in the house. Devontae Alvarez. Speaking of Alvarez, we have Mary Alvarez in the house.
Yeah.
I Kill. JD from DC, much love.
Of course.
Mike Aldana representing. Let me see who else is here. Juan Vallejo, Brandon James. My heart definitely goes out to you and your family. I'm so sorry about your grandmother. We have who else? W here. Let me see. King D, Gabby. Hopefully I said that right. Thomas Garrett, Spear Garrett.
Yep.
Dirty South MVP. Sports Production. We have Juan Carlos, Donnie Hayes, Chris Plumage. Let me see. Fuego bringing the heat. Lord Nova, Asmodeus, Yahweh's Child, Freedom First, Aztec Aguilar 04. All of you guys, again, Bruce got the toxic juice. I appreciate you all. We're going to obviously touch on our thoughts and opinions, but we're also going to probably be touching on at least a handful of basic facts, because the reality is, doesn't matter how we're feeling about this team. The one thing that even Jerry has no control over, which is where the money, how the money chips fall in certain ways when it comes to the NFL. Well, Jerry, you made your bed, now you have to lie in it. And then who's going to be laying in that bed with us this upcoming season? And I'm just saying that, that we all know that the money will dictate who actually stays here next year. So, just saying, as much as we might want to see some players gone, maybe we can. And as much as we might want to see some players return, also, maybe we can't.
And
so, with that said, let's go ahead. Let's get this NFL shit out of the way before we get into all the Cowboy stuff. Just
get
obviously
extra ranty here, yeah.
Let's get and I'll keep shouting out people here.
Yes, of course.
In the chat as they're rolling in. Dallas Cowboy 92, Justin D. Exactly. Yeah. The Dak cap situation. We'll obviously touch on that in detail, but it's Jerry signed his life away in certain aspects.
Listen, we'll get into it in a minute, all right? And first and foremost, let's just get, like you said, through the NFL stuff, the playoffs in the wild card round, which we're in. We're finished now. And it ended with just an hour ago or so with Baker Mayfield And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who lost to us last year with Tom Brady, we played them in Tampa. This time in Tampa, destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles. It's funny that there's two NFC South teams. Am I right? No, there's two NFC North teams. Mm-hmm. The Packers and the Lions still left out of the four in the NFC. There's no NFC East teams, but there's an NFC South team still, Tampa Bay. Now in the divisional round, and it's Tampa Bay at Detroit. Again,
not that I care about the NFC East as an overall.
No, I know, but the representation.
But we all look like freaking jokesters.
We were like,
now.
NFC East was like it was like Cowboys, Eagles, Niners. Now it's just like the Niners haven't even play a game,
it literally
and we're both
like
out.
Four JV squads battling it out.
So the point is, now it's Tampa Bay at Detroit. Detroit getting that home field advantage that we had control of until we got our asses kicked, and then. The Niners, of course, they play the least, the lowest ranked seeded team. Of course, they beat us, the Packers. So it's Green Bay at the Niners next week, and it'll be, the Buccaneers traveling to Detroit. So Baker Mayfield threw for 337 yards against the Eagle defense, and the Buccaneers won 32-9, pretty much blowing them out. It took a little longer, about fourth quarters when the blowout kind of really got going. But Jalen Hurts. Defending NFC champion Eagles, out of the playoffs now. Bucks are 10-8, just like the Packers are now. Mm-hmm. They won for the sixth time in 7 games. Green Bay's won 4 in a row. So, seeing the hot teams that get into the playoffs and how good they do compared to the teams that were doing hot beginning half, 3/4 of the season, like the Cowboys and the Eagles.
Yeah.
Colossal fail by the Eagles. Were 10-1. And they didn't even get. They haven't got to 12 wins after being 10-1 in the last 6 weeks. So again, now the Lions 13-5, home team. In the regular season they did shut down. They shut down the Buccaneers, the Lions, against from the Bucks, who of course know each other since they played this year against each other, and the Lions won that game. Expected to win. Expectation is it's going to be the Detroit Lions at the San Francisco 49ers to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. So there you go. That's the update on that game. The earlier game of today, which was the game was supposed to be before our game yesterday, in the blizzard snow and the poor fans sitting in the stands, sitting basically in snow, snowballs flying crazy, and in Buffalo, and the Bills did end up beating the Steelers, advancing to play the Kansas City Chiefs at the Chiefs in the divisional round. I'm sorry, I think they're the home team. Anyways, Josh Allen threw 3 touchdown passes, scored on a franchise playoff record 52-yard touchdown run, and the Bills beat the Steelers 31-17 Monday night.
Wonderful.
Monday afternoon, I should say. Yep, in this AFC wildcard playoff game, postponed because of that lake effect blizzard from yesterday. The Highmark Stadium football stands erupted with snow being tossed in the air. It was like confetti out there when Josh Allen threw that 17-yard touchdown, and took over a two touchdown lead over the Steelers. Then second seeded Buffalo Bills, they won. Now they're 12-6. Closed the regular season with 5 straight wins. You see what I'm saying? Another team that won their games.
Not just that, but was getting hot in December. For as much as McCarthy crowed on about, playing your best football in December, should have seen it coming, guys, because we certainly didn't.
Yeah, that's my point. The last 3 teams I just mentioned and talked about, the Packers, the Buccaneers, now the Bills, they've all won 3, 4, or 5 games in a row right now at this point. And, you're looking at the Eagles, who lost 5 out of their 6, Cowboys, who, we lost 3 out of our last 5. It's just not good. And the Chiefs right now will be traveling to Buffalo for this next game here. I think it's going to be on Sunday night. So if you're interested in that, we are not that interested in fucking playoff football because we're out of the playoffs as the Cowboys. So, again, any quick thoughts on this, baby, or anybody before we get moving on, because I don't really care.
No we're surprises done. There.
Yeah. No, there you go. So what happens with the Cowboys when it comes to the wonderful draft, right? That horrible draft we had. But what happens now? We officially have clinched the 24th pick of the draft.
Woohoo! So,
this is going to be kind of interesting here because last year we were the 26th pick of the draft, and that's because we lost in the divisional round of the playoffs So we got two spots higher. Whoop-de-fucking-do. The last 10 most recent 24th overall picks. Deontay Banks from the Giants. Tyler Smith from the Cowboys. That's right. 2 years ago, we also had the 24th pick. We lost the Niners in that tried to spike the ball in time kind of game with the referee. Najee Harris there in 2021. In 2020, it was Cesar Ruiz, center for the Saints. Josh Jacobs in 2019. DJ Moore for the Panthers in 2018. Garyon Conley from the Raiders in 2017. William Jackson III for the Bengals. DJ Humphries from the Cardinals. And Darqueze Dennard from the Bengals. I mean, there's definitely some good players in there at 24, but, obviously very disappointing season. And 24th pick is no solace to that. There's no happiness in this. It just sucks. And as the Cowboys turn the page to now the 2024 season, since our 2023-2024 season is officially fucking over, we did turn our page to the futures of our team here. The futures, meaning we signed 8 players from the practice squad currently to the reserve future contracts to this team heading into 2024. So this puts...
Hey, we got a future Pro Bowler over here on our hands, right? Somewhere on this list.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. Again, you got this group of guys on a path to at least compete for a 2024 roster spot or a role of some sort. Offensive tackle, Earl Bostic. Cornerback, Josh Butler. Tight end, Princeton Fant. Linebacker, Buddy Johnson. Edge rusher, Darrell Johnson. Receiver, Racy McMath. You like that name?
I do.
Receiver, Jalen Cropper. And safety, Sheldrick Redwine. Those are the 8 players we've signed to our futures contracts, which basically guarantees them to stay with the Cowboys here for 2024 for now. We could still cut them and release them, but it's basically guys we decided to keep on board from the practice squad. This is a standard procedure. When you begin the offseason, when a team is out of the playoffs, whether or not any of these players actually contribute significantly to the team in the future is obviously a very low percentage of that happening. But Jalen Cropper, which the guy kind of showed out a little bit as a rookie undrafted this last training camp, he may be a guy that pops out of this. Who knows, right? Up next for the Cowboys, the next thing is a declaration, basically, whether a formal announcement or another way, regarding the Cowboys' plans of what we're going to do with head coach Mike McCarthy and with the rest of the team staff. Once all of that is settled and locked in, whether we keep in McCarthy or looking for a new coach, that's like kind of the next phase of things that happen. So now we got these futures signed guys here, these futures. The next step, figuring out what we're going to do with the coaching staff. That's what it's going to come down to, which is obviously one of the big 3 questions, or kind of what's next kind of situations for the Cowboys. Now, I hate saying this because Eastside Harold's fucking shitty Houston Texans, they have more playoff wins than the Dallas Cowboys since the Texans' first season, since their
basically since their birth.
Yeah, 2002. They have 5 playoff victories. We have 4. Embarrassing. Just plain and simple. Embarrassing. And again, embarrassing. So many people watch this game. Of course, a playoff game, but
I mean,
40 million viewers were watching yesterday's game between the Packers and Cowboys.
Wonderful.
Projects to be NFL on Fox's best performance as far as viewers for an NFL wildcard game since 2015. It peaked at 43.4 million viewers from 6:45 to 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So, great. A lot of people get to see us get fucking thrashed out there.
Wonderful.
That's just great. Now, it's a disgrace. Now, I will say this. We know that usually after the games or a day after, right, on Tuesdays, what happens on those days? Usually either after a game or on Tuesdays and like Fridays.
Well, we obviously hear usually from our front office guys like Jerry and Steven.
Yeah, but they are not speaking. Not right now, guys. Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones will not be appearing this week on their usual 105.3 The Fan program.
No surprise.
They've come on in the past. They have come on in the past to recap the year after they've been knocked out of the playoffs, after we've been out. But the radio agreements for the year expire when the Cowboys season officially ends, which is now. So they're technically not under contract to appear, and according to the reports, the Cowboys are going to take the front office, Jerry and Stephen Jones, are definitely not going to choose to appear. So they're cowards hiding behind their clown faces over there. That's just part of the problem on this team. But we know that's the foundational issue on this team. When you look at the actual game, I'm not going to I'm not throwing stats out here. These are just, we're going to answer these questions and move through this quickly.
The number one stat you need to know is that we lost.
We lost
the
the
number
fucking
two
game
stat you need to
embarrassingly.
know is that we suck.
we definitely blew a chance, and it's just we didn't have the talent. Is it the coaching? Is it the front office? Maybe it's everything. It's just everything at this point. And I just, we'll dive a little bit deeper into this. Obviously, you just can't knee-jerk reaction. Everyone's fired. What's the reality of the situation? We're going to talk about it here, probably through some anger. Here. So, again.
Not Brian anger either.
No, that's one of the good things. Now, when you look at our team, first let me just start off with just a basic stat here.
Go ahead.
Cowboys' amount of time when trailing at home. When we are at home. We've trailed the entire regular season a combined 44 minutes and 36 seconds. The entire year. Just in this wild card game against the Packers, we trailed 52 minutes and 8 seconds at home. So
ridiculous.
I mean, again, it's all 8 games combined, we only trailed for 44 minutes and change. This one game, we trailed for a little over 52 minutes. It's embarrassing. It is. I mean, it's almost like it feels like some people. I disagree with the script. It's it's a rigged thing. Shut up. It's not a conspiracy. Not rigged. I'll never believe it ever. But I will say this: it feels like it. It doesn't do it any favors when people that talk that stuff and want to believe it's some kind of conspiracy can't take our L. We gotta take our L. We look like shit out there. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a script. But that's the thing. That it feels like it. How badly this team ended the season. It's beyond embarrassing, beyond words. So I know there's a lot of people that spoke on this when it comes to whether it's McCarthy, Dak, and others. I know maybe you have all that information, so I'll get to it in a minute. But let me just slide into my own little information here, my thoughts, and maybe I want to hear yours as well when it comes to Dak Prescott. And again, we're going to slide into everybody here piece by piece, but Dak Prescott's performance against the Packers, no matter how bad it was, and it was fucking bad. He missed some guys open. I mean, it's beyond interceptions were bad choices. That first interception to Brandon Cooks, guys, I'm just telling you, Dak made a bad read there. Should have went to CeeDee Lamb, who was going to be wide open. If you make the basic read, any quarterback makes that read. This is the issue with Dak Prescott, who has some great games. This is not even about having a good team, a bad team. We're at home, we have the advantage, and we're winning our games. It's not about that. It's that Dak has he blanks out of a game like this, and I don't care about wild card. It's the playoffs. He can't perform. I don't know if that's the case either. If it's just because he's performed in other games in the playoffs, just not recently. But man, the fact that he missed CeeDee Lamb on an wide open play on that interception to Brandon Cooks baffles me why Dak then regresses. There was no pressure on him. It was no real pressure. He had time. So those are the things that are on Dak. Forget about that pick six. My God, I mean that pick six. That was a Jair Alexander pick. That was not a pick six, and they scored a little bit after that.
Yeah.
The pick six that you saw later on in the game when he was talking to CeeDee Lamb multiple times in the drive, that you knew he was going to go to CeeDee Lamb, and Darnell Savage just read the eyes and made the pick six. I mean, Dak was not communicating well with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb was like a zombie on that field. So, we talked about it live on our stream yesterday. I don't think I have to kind of keep beating a dead horse.
Yeah, and thank you, Ron the Don Smith. Do appreciate that.
Yes, much
lovely
love.
comment.
Appreciate you guys. It's tough for us to sit through this shit and kind of talk it through. But listen, the reality is this is part of the future of things, and we're going to talk about. No matter how bad he did yesterday, he's had some great games this year, MVP type of season. That's undeniable, and it's a big choice to do. You're gonna just we're gonna get rid of him no matter what next year. After the year ends, is he gonna waive his contract? We're gonna talk about that in a minute. I want to know, what he said yesterday about, this game, post game. Dak Prescott obviously not a happy man about the performance that he had, performance that his team had. I know Mike McCarthy also intertwines into that.
Yes, McCarthy. I'll start with the McCarthy one just because he obviously didn't really actually say as much as even Dak said. He said, I think the biggest thing is, we're disappointed. I got a whole team in the locker room that's hurting. I haven't thought past the outcome of this game. So, and that goes into the whole, like, coaching thing and all that. That's his whole point is, I haven't really thought much outside of the outcome of this game.
Yeah, which means they overlooked this game. That's kind of a hint to me. Mr. McCarthy overlooked this game a little bit. Did not have the guys ready. Again. Go ahead.
So, Dak, of course, in his post-game commentary, actually ends up...
Is that all McCarthy kind of...
Yeah, that's why I said that. I told you, like,
yeah.
If I told you everything else he said, it's going to literally come down to the same 2 points I just said here.
Yeah, I got
He's
you.
not really commenting on or thinking about anything past this current loss, and he's just flabbergasted that we lost in the first place. So... Yep. That's why I said Dak actually had a lot more to say with a little bit more detail. He said, like I said, defending McCarthy, basically saying, if you think he is in the hot seat, then I'm in the hot seat too. Adding in their quote, he's been amazing in regards to McCarthy. I don't know how they can be speculation about his future, but I understand the business. In that case, it should be about me as well. I've had the season that I've had because of him. This team has had the success that they've had because of him. I understand it's about winning the Super Bowl. That's the standard of this league and damn sure the standard of this place. I get it, but add me to the list in that case.
I mean, again, number one.
Okay.
Yeah, you're
like
on
my
the
initial
Dak,
comment when I heard that, I'm like, okay.
Dak, it's not a threat. You're on the list. You're on the hot seat list. You're on the shit list. I don't give a fuck how good of an MVP season you had in the sense of, what are you showing us on a consistent basis? And when you look at his performance against the Packers, he has a $59.455 million 2024 salary cap hit. He also, as we know, we've said this, not a surprise, a no-trade clause, unless he takes that clause away, and a provision preventing a franchise tag in 2025. What I'm trying to say is he's got incredible leverage. And so does any quarterback that signs a deal like this. In the league. I don't care if you think they're the best or if you think they're the worst. Every quarterback that gets a big deal, a big contract, this is the language that's in every single one of them. So, again, I don't think people are like, cut Dak. Shut up. You sound dumb. People don't realize how much leverage Dak Prescott has.
I was going to say, I think that's one of the reasons why he felt bold enough to even make a comment like this, because he knows damn well he's not going anywhere next year. And that's just...
at least one more year.
Facts. That's just reality. That's just the money situation here in Dallas.
When you look at it, right, at almost $60 million, $59.5 million, the cap hit next year, the Cowboys, if they restructure for cap relief, it'll still leave us with about, I'll let you know, but we're going to still have $58 million in dead money. In 2025, we push that money over. $58 million will be dead money. With him not here, let's say he's not here. If we push that money forward. I'll wait for a second because we got the first official drop of the night here on stream.
That's right,
kicking off and taking the lead across the board here. Calvin Richard with that 5 on it, which, by the way, we're a Dak drop away. Jason Renfro holding down the stream boss right now with 4. A Dak drop. Drops you into the boss of the stream. But much love to Calvin Richard with 5 on it. What did he have to say?
Bell and Clark.
Thank
you for subbing it up. Transgender girl cutie. But Calvin Richard said, Bell and Clark jump out of gaps instead of into them. Linebackers needed ASAP. Man, I wish you could retroactively go back in time and like somehow salvage all the wasted draft capital that we've invested in linebackers just to literally get.
Well, some of it you can't help,
basically,
right?
No,
LVE injured and Overshown injured, right? But we got lightweights and we didn't.
Remember, at the time, it was supposed to be, the Jalen Smith and LVE show. Right? Like, at first we pinned all our hopes on
that was way back.
Then, I'm just saying, like, if you go back into the era of that time, that's where it went. Of course, it didn't work out that way. And then, look at that, we drafted Micah Parsons. But wait, hold up. Oh, now he's on the D-line. Well, I guess linebacker needs some help. But then we got Damone Clark. And then, okay. Just saying. We ended up obviously not having him as soon as we expected, but we kind of knew that getting him, right? Then he's coming back off of an injury, which we already expected, maybe not like the greatest play. Then he's forced to go in there and, sub it in for LVE. I'm just saying, and basically take over as the only linebacker left standing after LVE goes down. So, it turned into a much more precarious situation very quickly.
Again, Marquise Bell as well. Marquise Bell, undersized safety. And listen, he played very well. One of the highest rated guys as far as linebackers in the league, but that takes a toll when a team runs all over you like they did to us in Green Bay. And like Calvin Richards said, but the fact that these guys, both of them, they're jumping out of the gap they're supposed to cover. They would move into the wrong area of the field, and they would not be covering. There a lot of runnings.
It's like a firefighter running away from the fire instead of towards it.
It was very strange.
It's one thing for a normal person to run away from a hit, but you're supposed to be the one running towards them.
Things you can blame on Dan Quinn in this for sure, but some of these things are just on the linebackers and execution. But anyways, appreciate you, Calvin. Mr. Jason Renfro down to 3 points now in the stream, boss.
Yeah, just barely holding on.
Cooks will take it there, but we'll get into the defense as well. Don't worry, we're not going to miss a thing when it comes to who to criticize. So when it comes to Dak Prescott, like I said, his money situation right now, people don't realize how much leverage Dak has. When Dallas if Dallas restructures his cap this year, his hit, it will leave us still with $58 million next year of dead money. Because we have been pushing some money forward every single year. You got to remember that. Every year we restructure it and get a $17 million hit on Dak. That big chunk of that money goes to 2025 and 2026 in voidable years. So the Packers, they got draft picks in return for Aaron Rodgers. But we can't trade Dak. If Dak is waived, because again, guys, trade clause would stop a trade from happening. But if we cut Dak Prescott, some people say, well, we just cut him then, right? Guys, if we cut him, the Cowboys would have $61.9 million of 2024 dead money capital. And again, a trade would bring back, at least 2024 draft capital, but we would lose everything. We would lose everything. We would lose a cap hit this year and next year. There's no way, and that's the way it was set up and figured out and done by his agent, by all the quarterbacks that are getting paid with this money. You're locked in with once you get that quarterback, you're locked in for a shitload of years with that guy, and you may have to. Let me put it this way: you may have to extend Dak Prescott just to make the cap hits fit because of the rolled over money. And listen, I'm going to say it like this: Cowboys have also to deal with CeeDee Lamb's contract and Micah Parsons' contract. All right, I'm assuming we're not going to let them go. We're going to trade them. What's the game plan? Who knows? But I'm just saying if the Cowboys want to blow it all up. But the fact that, and again, I hate saying it, we're going to say, it's Dak Prescott's fault. No, it's not that. Dak Prescott is a solid quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Is he got enough to put it on his back, even when you don't have to even put it on his fucking back? Do you want to put it on his back and force him to win every game? That's not going to be this guy. That's not Dak Prescott. So the issue was the dragging of the feet by the clown show. That's the initial issue. You guys bitch about the money, and there's something, of course we can bitch about it. That's the way it is nowadays when it comes to contracts. But the fact that they dragged their feet for 3 years, that they knew they wanted to make, they had no other bargaining chips, this front office, and they dragged their feet. Instead of getting Dak at $30 million cheap a year, they decided to drag their feet, and now they're paying $40 million a year average, right? Now that money rolled over is hitting the cap for even more. So with the two contracts we got to worry about with Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys dragged their feet in giving Dak his first extension. Blew up in the Cowboys' face in the worst fucking way. But also very predictable that we knew this was going to happen with the contract. Not a surprise. The clown show knew this already. They chose this route. That's it. Simple as that. So guys, I don't know. I do want to know what Dak said. I also want to know what the thought process is for you when it comes to Dak Prescott. Because for me, we have Dak for at least one more year. We're probably going to have to extend him to lower the cap hits for the next couple of years to fit the deals of CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons in there. Yeah. So whether you guys like it or not, it's going to be Dak Prescott probably for the next 3 or 4 years still. And Trey Lance is sitting there. The Cowboys may be more apt to like taking a look at him, but if you're gonna pay Dak $55 million a year, on average for the extension, then you forget about Trey Lance. He's the backup at best, because there's no way you're gonna put that kind of money into somebody and then he's gonna be your backup. But obviously that's not gonna happen. So what do you think about this? Because he's here. I'm not happy about it. I feel like we're stuck with him, but that's the way the business goes. And he is still top 10 quarterback. He's still all these things. He can still have an MVP season. But this team, I think, as a whole, not just on Dak, the team at Dak had a horrible game through 2 horrible picks. But in this game, I think it's a lot more than just that. Don't tell me we got 32 points on that board. It would be
so much easier.
That 32 points, 17 of those points were prevent defense by the Packers. And that's facts. I don't care what anyone tells you, feeds you on this shit. 32 points is also prevent defense, just letting you know. But anyways, I'm sorry, baby. I just wanted to get it out because these are little mini rants we're going to have. And that's Dak Prescott failed us, but it's not only on him because it should not be only put on his shoulders or his back. I don't give a fuck about the money. It should be put on. It's a team game. The defense failed us. We'll talk about them. Every level failed us. Coaching, defense, special teams, and offense. And Dak was part of that shit burger we got to feed everybody. Forget the 40 burger. Oh, we got a 30 burger. Don't fucking matter. We ate shit for this game. And Dak, one of the main people at the feast. So, Dak, you get all this shit as well. Everybody else on this team on offense. Ferguson was the only one that had a good game. Everybody else pretty much shit the bed. And from the coaches to the players, what do you think, baby, when it comes to Dak Prescott?
Yeah,
and what do you think about him, the extension, possibilities or not, keeping him or not? Some people want him cut today. It's stupid. You can't cut him.
Look, I admit I was one of those people that, at least initially right after the game, I said,
of course,
get rid of the whole team,
yeah.
Of course. And there's still definitely a strong part of me that would love to do that. But realistically speaking, that's just not how NFL franchises are built nowadays. Thank you, Calvin Richards, with a $2 holler. Throwing out there, again, another one of those realities. Dak really needed a better running game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. Because when you look at some of the few runs that we actually did, it's not like it was completely unsuccessful. It's not like it wasn't working.
So what happened? The defense failed, and that's what started the breakdown. Once the defense failed, and the offense couldn't really get had a couple mistakes, then threw a pick from Dak, dumb move from Dak.
But yes, all our problems basically came home to roost, including our lack of a solid run game.
Yeah, that plays into it. Can we thank you, John Dalton. Welcome to the family here at MCF. But we could have done a lot. Would we have been better if we had maybe not made so many mistakes like that, and maybe got a run game going. We had the run game going. It's just a failure we made mistakes on offense. The defense couldn't stop anyone, and for this team. Even at home, I thought we could come back, but no, we couldn't. Too many mistakes by this offense. A lot of mistakes and failures and breakdowns and sloppy play from this team, coaching, and on and on. It's just embarrassing in my mind, plain and simple. So, any comments from the people in the chat about Dak Prescott and the contract? I mean, unless you had more stuff to say, I'm sorry.
And I kind of did, but it's fine.
No, go ahead. I wanted you to say
JD from DC dropped his membership message there. 3 months. Shout out to him saying, "Go get King Henry, re-sign Cook and Gilmore, draft some O-line, D-line, and cornerback." So,
Brandon, Cook is here for another year, no matter what. Gilmore, we'd have to re-sign him, but he's having shoulder surgery. I'll talk about that in a minute. But getting a big name like King Henry would be a waste of money, in my opinion. He would not be. I'm sorry, I disagree with JD from DC on that one. Is that? Yeah, JD from DC. I do not agree with getting Henry and spending the extra money you don't want to spend on a running back when we barely use the running back. I think it comes down to, will McCarthy be our coach? Who's going to be the coach? I think we can draft a running back. The way offenses use running backs now, let's not throw money, and we don't have a Derrick Henry, a guy who's probably going to be broken down by the time he's halfway through the season. With the way the Cowboys will probably want to use him with Jerry Jones. So I'm just saying, I think that would be a bad move. We don't go for the big name. The guy who's getting, in the downside of his career. He's going to be. He's on the back end of his career as a running back. No, you don't. That's not a move you do. Gilmore may be too old already. Cooks is here for at least one more year. On those guys. That's the breakdown there. So, anyways. What other comments on Dak in the chat? On just Dak Prescott, if we could keep it to...
No, of course. Let me see. 808 Cowboys said, embarrassing and unforgivable. Ain't trusting this team no matter how good or bad they play.
Yep.
Devontae Adams said, Dak should have thrown 4 picks. So...
Yeah, well, you know.
Mary Alvarez saying, facts. Dak should have had more picks, but it was a total team loss.
I mean...
So I kill pointing out, Denver's going through it worse financially. But, again, do we really want to... I mean... I don't give a shit. It's not my money. It's not my type of thing or whatever. But I understand that the cap, as much as the pie is a lie, well, sometimes if you don't bake your pie properly, things like this happen, right? So now the Cowboys...
They had baked their pie a little earlier with Dak. It
That's
would have
what
worked
I'm
out a
saying.
lot better.
It all goes back to the first initial mismanagement of his initial contract.
Right.
Instead of paying him an extra $1 or $2 million a year more or doing something. No, they waited a year. They tagged him.
3
They
years,
allowed him to get to this point. Now we're forced to sign him the same way that now we're basically backed into a corner where, again, go through actual literal cap hell. Even we can't say there's a way to lie your pie out of that one.
Well, you push the money forward. You just got to sign less guys and
draft
better.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you either take the hit now and move on now,
which is not,
or you try to salvage it by extending Dak, which is really the only way to really salvage that situation by investing even more in it. Isn't that wonderful?
Much love.
Thank you, Calvin Richards, with a $2 holler, and JD from DC with a $5 holler. I believe somebody just took over the stream boss there.
John Dalton.
Oh.
Yeah, he was a new...
That's right, with the subscription.
Yeah, a new subscriber took it over, 98 points. After
I think he's a troll, so unfortunately, there's that.
There you go. John Dalton, the troll.
You know what? The Cowboys, I think it's almost fitting. Yeah, but the Cowboys got trolled.
Calvin drops him 2, and when JD from DC's hits, he'll drop him 5 more. So we got to get the troll off the board.
So Calvin Richards said with his $2 holler, what do you guys think about Bill Belichick as the head coach? You got to go a step above if you really want to make a culture change here.
We're going again. I'm going to say this. We're going to get into that in a minute or two. Brace yourself.
JD from DC with his $5 holler.
Much love.
Our window is closing. Get King Henry and win for the next 2 years. So that is, of course, when we get into the more coaching, other stuff outside of just the Dak thing specifically. That's the big question. How much of his team do we blow up and try to start over with? How much of it do we actively try to keep that we can? And how much of that is impacted by maybe who is actually leading this team and what they maybe might want to do?
What would be their offensive scheme and thought? But look, Derrick Henry, I don't think he's going to necessarily answer your issues, your problems, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. How much will he cost the Cowboys? Another big question, right?
It would be so easy. I would feel so much better about this team if I could just look at Dak and say, Dak, you are the problem. Get out of here so we can fix this franchise. Or we need Derrick Henry to fix the entire offense. Just a linebacker.
I don't think that's going to do it.
No, it's a multi-level thing. So let me keep going with the last comments.
But I do want to say Calvin Richard in first, JD from DC in second right now on the overall board.
Shout out to both of you. Dropping the love, showing the love here. So like I said, Dak went out there, continued to speak, saying, quote, and remember, this is all post-game. I understand it's about winning the Super Bowl. That's the standard of this league and damn sure the standard of this place. I get it. But add me to the list in that case. And I'm just saying, like, we heard the first part of that comment.
He's adding himself a lot of lists. Yeah, he's adding himself a lot of these lists. It sounds like the list of, hey, you're going to take care. If you're going to fire McCarthy, fire me.
He said he was at a loss for words after this game, saying it's tough to give you that answer when I just went out there and we just did that. Unfortunately, that's what the offseason is for, and it's a long one. Yeah, I wish I could give you that answer. So fully acknowledging that once we watch the tape, once we see what happened, we're going to know.
Listen,
we don't need to watch the tape to know.
This wasn't the first time I hear Dak saying, oh, we don't have an answer. I've heard this early in the season from McCarthy, from Dak, and others. So this is just something that we kind of heard, and I've been saying, and we've been kind of, saying, be careful. This is the Cowboy MO, and they proved us right.
And the same thing that makes Dak so good in a lot of ways is I have to admit, this rubbed me very much the wrong way when he said this. So he said, quote, I'm not a guy who lives in the past. where my feet are, and at this moment, yeah, I sucked tonight, but that was it. I got it going a little bit late, but none of that mattered at that point. Fall, that's all I really know how to do.
Fall?
Yeah.
As in?
Fall. Like, I don't know. That's what he said. I'm guessing he means, like, go down in general. Like,
so all he knows how to do is falling?
I guess. I mean, that's how I'm taking it.
That's a loser comment. If he said that, we need to fucking cut him. I don't know what to say.
Well, he said it's about winning and winning the playoffs and getting to the last game and winning that as well. Yeah, it's tough.
Well, he better get up.
There's Dak.
Yeah, I mean, he's again. I'm sure he'll say. I'm sure that sounds like it's out of context or something's off with that. But either way, Dak Prescott has to.
I can't agree. Skeptical. It is very
rebound
hard
somehow.
I guess on one hand, he said I can't. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am glad that he didn't try to give any bullshit excuses. For that, I will at least appreciate the Cowboys for a minute, because I think I would have genuinely broken something if I had to hear bullshit excuses from this team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no excuses. There was just no answers.
Well, that's my point. At least they're not trying to pretend to give us any.
Well, that's even more disappointing. How did we get to this point? 12 wins, and we don't have answers? That's a failure in culture of this team. You know, I'm going to move on here for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any more from Dak.
That's pretty much it from Dak. I did want to touch on maybe some of the Jerry points, just because, again, I do think they lead into pretty much everything else.
We're going to talk about the coaching situation.
Yeah. Outside of some of the player commentary.
I think the coaching situation is a good time to kind of put into that. But let me get to it, because Jerry Jones did say something to the team today. But, the Dak commentary right now, I mean, I think we're wrapping it up here when it comes to the we'll have a lot to talk about with Dak and what's going to happen next. Will he just be playing out his one last year?
Hey, you remember, guys, he said it. We have an entire offseason to talk about all of this.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Dak's contract extension. We're gonna talk about him not getting any extension. That's gonna be we're gonna get a $60 million hit this year. Probably push the money next year and make it another $60 million hit next year, and he won't be on the team with no Dak Prescott. So a lot of decisions to be made when it comes to the way the Cowboys want to manage his money.
What do you think he's going to do with all that Louis Vuitton gear?
I don't know, that LV, right? That freaking Las Vegas. All that shit talking. And like I've been saying, remember I said it when you said that. I'm like, I hate the fact that we're even thinking like that. Like, we're thinking with these silly little signs and little hopes of LV and pumping themselves up, like, on their fucking rich luggage bags. Like, fuck that shit. And that's Dak. That's everyone on this fucking team. Organization from the ground up. There's failures around this whole thing from every level. Like I said it, front office, coaching, players, offense, defense, special teams. Coaching, offense, defense, special teams. That's it. It's a complete failure of a team. Fool's gold once again. And that's it. Deserving of this ending. I don't know about blowing up the team, but there may be only one option left. And I'm going to talk about it here in a minute. First, we got House of Mods 210.
Thank you for summing it up.
Part of the family here at MCF. Appreciate you. So the Dak Prescott side of things is, I mean, what else can I say? I don't know. Is there any other last comments in the chat there about Dak Prescott? I see JD from DC here. He's about to drop another 5 on it.
That's right. You're going to see it come through here saying, much love, JD from DC. Dak? It sounded like Romo, Chad Hutchinson, Tony Banks, Quincy Carter, or Ryan Leaf. Either we have an honest, open QB competition, or get rid of Dak. So the one thing I will say is that win or lose, the machinations, the moves were always going to happen this year behind the scenes to start bringing in, the next guy up, so to speak. And I genuinely believe that, just because timeline-wise, even if we extended Dak, right, that just means that we just drafted a guy who gets a comfortable, let's say, 3 years, maybe 4 years to, learn the ropes and then be handed off the franchise, right? So I'm just saying that I could easily see the Cowboys, beginning that process now. If anything, that now, everything that's happened just absolutely solidifies. We are starting that search sooner rather than later, because the Cowboys want to have options for whenever that day comes, and they also don't want to have to be forced into Dak being the best option. They'd rather have other options as well.
Which was Their major mistake the first
Trey
time
Lance
they did
is
their
not
deal.
one of those options, by the way.
Well, again,
just to clarify for anybody else.
Well, right now, no, but in the year it might be.
I agree.
So I'm just saying that the Cowboys.
Just some people are
that's
saying,
the way,
get rid of Dak now, put in Trey Lance.
Okay,
now.
so guys, you can't get rid of Dak. Just the way it's going to be. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I want to let JD from DC know. No matter what you do, even if Dak ends up being like Romo, all right, which it looks like where he's heading right now. Let's say he does. It's. You cannot have an open and honest competition, quarterback competition, because Dak is going to get paid $50 to $60 million. That's it. There's no quarterback competition. It's Dak's the starter, and that's it. If you extend him or if you sign him for any longer, so that's impossible. By the way, I also saw Marco Sepien dropping that 5 on here, baby.
That's right.
What did the man say?
All mocked me when I said strength of schedule. You realize almost every team we played had a defense ranked 24th or worse. Add to that strength of schedule at 30.
But now I do have to say, we beat teams like the Rams in Dallas. We beat teams like the Eagles in Dallas when they were stronger, like the Eagles, Seattle, when they were in the playoffs at the time. But my question, though, and the Lions, who obviously took our seed, basically. They're the 3rd seed, but now basically the 2nd seed. My thing is, though, and I agree with this. We've never disagreed with the strength of schedule thing. It's just that we've beaten decent teams at home in Dallas. That was the key. And to me, the Green Bay Packers, are they a good team? Do you know what they're ranked in the run and in the pass? Horrible. So we just failed here. It wasn't about the opponent. You see, nothing to do with the strength of the opponent here. It's about, to me, maybe they just prepared better, coached better, had prepped better for us than we did with against them. Maybe it's execution, maybe it's everything. But what I'm trying to say, Mark, is that your mindset of the good team with the with the defenses that are ranked poorly when we've destroyed them. What happened in this game? The Packers are a team with horrible rankings on the run stop and the pass stop. What happened? Why didn't we blow them out? That's towards Mark, and that kind of like question. That's something he's been touting all year. I've been touting all year. Mm-hmm. I've been saying at home we come back, we blow teams out. We couldn't do it. What happened? The Cowboys broke down here as well. Broke down to your theory of playing bad defenses. We just slaughter them. No, we blew this one, and destroying my theory that at home we hang in there. We beat these teams even if they're just 9-8. Which is not, barely over 500, not a great team, right? Both those theories thrashed. Why were they thrashed? Because this is a bigger issue than just this guy, that guy, or how much is getting paid. Marco Sepien dropping another 5 on it, and Marco Sepien officially tied for first place with JD from DC.
There we go. Thank you, Mark. Big mahalo to you, saying the scoring D, Buffalo and San Francisco ranked top 5. We scored 10. Green Bay ranks 10. We scored 16 until Green Bay went prevent. We just aren't that good. Take the 1-year bite and let him go.
It's actually, again, it's going to be it'll be 2 years of not having him. It's not just 1 year. Remember that. It's going to be 1 year of not having. Now, again, we don't have Dak, but we let him go. We're still paying that contract. It makes no sense. I'm asking Mark, who will we put in that spot? Trey Lance? Cooper Rush? We're going to draft some guy? We're going to pick up Derek Carr? I'm just saying, and pay him $40 million a year? You guys understand what I'm trying to say? It's like, there's really no answer here other than Dak's going to be our quarterback this year. If you cut him, you're paying $60 million this year, and you're going to be paying $25 million next year. You're paying like $90 million of dead cap money with a guy you're not even getting one pass from in two seasons. That sounds, sounds really bad. It's dumb to do that, right? So you got to keep Dak. Too much of a hit. That's the whole reason why the contract is constructed that way for not just Dak, but all quarterbacks that get any big deal contracts. So that's just the way it is. So
Mary Alvarez said it, Cowboy versus Cowboys. Don't forget that we beat ourselves, people. Yep. I don't care what people say. Packers ain't that good. We beat ourselves.
And I agree, but yet still, that's my point. At home, all these things Packers out-game planned us. They out-game planned us, the Packers. And that's on... the team wasn't also ready. I don't think the players were ready. They were not there, ready to go. So to me, it comes down to they out-game planned us, out-coached us, and that turned into, us not being prepared, us looking like we're sloppy and shitty, which we were. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Unfortunately, it's embarrassing. And it's something that the Cowboys have to accept top to bottom. The next chapter is difficult to figure out because of how many, of how little options we have here going forward. So that's one of those, unfortunate issues for our Cowboys.
Now, real quick, Alonda Hansley with the $2 holler saying, Cowboys still suck. Go Cowboys. I don't care how much they suck. I'm still not saying go any other team.
Listen, the Cowboys sucked it up, but Alonda, your Dolphins are out before us even. Let's be honest. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Alonda, thank you.
So thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. He said, pay him until his salary is done. Develop someone. Doing the same thing over and over is ridiculous. This loss will get us new coaching.
But again, and that's the one thing I wanted to ask Mark about in the past. I know his didn't drop yet, by the way. Okay. That was the Alonda drop.
Okay.
But
his $5 hollers coming here. It's a little, a little behind the schedule.
So Mark Hovsepian, again, I'm just curious because I know the reason why he wanted. There it is. There's the drop. I know why he wanted, kind of the L because we'd get Dan Quinn up there. But I'm assuming you're not happy with Dan Quinn either, right?
No.
Mr. Mark Hovsepian.
I can't imagine.
Well, he has to speak on it.
I know.
Because this was what Mark's big plan was, is that this is for Dan Quinn now to take over, which was my assumption too initially. But now we see it's a whole complete team fail. So do you blow it all up? You can only blow up so many pieces. You're not going to get rid of Trayvon Diggs. You're not going to get rid of Dak Prescott for one more year. So, Mark saying pay him till the salary is done, develop someone else. I think the guy we're developing, the guy we're going to put our hopes into, because Jerry Jones got him over here, and I know you said it's not going to be, but I think Trey Lance is the guy, the developing project for us. He's our higher pick.
Yeah, developing project, absolutely. Somehow the guy who next year is going to make everybody in Dallas want to tell Dak to kick rocks.
That's what
Highly doubt it, but that's what Jerry expects. That's Jerry's hopes, his dreams, his expectations. Will that actually happen? We'll have to see. And this is, like I said, this has nothing against Trey Lance on any kind of level, personal, professional, or otherwise. Just the reality of what this team is. That's all. So, let me go ahead. Take a second here. Appreciate you, Chris, hopping into that navy blue crew.
Much love to Chris. Didn't come up yet on this side, but I know he's coming up. And now, right there. I'm going to say jumping over Alonda Hansley. She's a Dolphin fan. You always get, in a tie, the tiebreaker is that star. Chris is on 4th place on the overall board and in the membership in the Navy Blue side of things. Appreciate you, Mr. Chris, repping that Navy Blue. That silver too, and that star over everything. Appreciate you. So, again, I have Dak still up there. I know we're talking about different things here, and when it comes to the money. Listen, guys, Dak Prescott, it would be the dumbest thing to just let him go. You know what I'm saying? You want to develop, like Mark said, develop someone like Trey Lance, which is, to me, that's our draft pick. We got rid of a 4th-round draft pick to get him. That's our 4th-round draft pick is Trey Lance, and that's the plan of development. And, that's why I said it last night. Don't be surprised if somehow Mike McCarthy still stays here. And I know that Mark is already saying he's gone, and I believe he damn should be gone. But the fact that it's about developing these quarterbacks and they want the guy who's good at developing quarterbacks, Mike McCarthy, fits that bill. So you might see Jerry Jones use that excuse of, well, we're going to look for a quarterback in Trey Lance. If he says that, because McCarthy's going to be helping the development of Trey Lance, in my humble opinion. Don't get ready for that excuse to be built in if we keep Mike McCarthy. So there's no guarantee we're getting new coaches, although it should be guaranteed we get new coaches, let's be honest. Curious to know about what Mark thinks about the Dan Quinn situation, which we're going to talk about. But let's stick with Mike McCarthy's situation here in a quick minute. And really moving on from Dak in a way. Again, we know his deal. We got to either extend him or let his contract play out, and we're going to be hitting, for 1 year of Dak, we're getting hit like $90 million in cap between 2 years, over 2 years of 1 year of Dak on the field if we let that contract go. If we restructure it, we bring his cap hit to like $40 million a year, but we got to pay it until like 2030, So anyways, the point is, and it will have him for a couple extra years, by the way, on the roster, but a lot of things there that you can see. Thumbs up when you talk about Dak Prescott. We talked a lot about Dak. Any other comments? We have a comment here from JD from DC. And I think others here. No? I think I came up here. That I got Calvin Richard also with a comment. And Mike and Marco Sepien. I have Mark, Calvin, and JD from DC all hitting at once, while John Dalton, 70 points of Zach Martin on that stream boss. What did all these ballers have to say, baby? Dropping that love.
So first of all, Marco Sepien's $5 holler saying Quinn's better than McCarthy, but I'd do anything for Bill. Bill's, let me see, AD coach. McCarthy is not some offensive guru. Better than Garrett, yes, but not a ton better.
Right. I mean, to me, Belichick's a defensive coach, while McCarthy's more of an offensive guy. You never know. Maybe you'll see a demotion of some sort. Maybe McCarthy's the offensive coordinator. I don't know. I'm just throwing shit out there. See what's there. We're going to talk about Belichick in a moment, though. Don't worry. Mark, I got you. So, continue with the comments.
So, let me see here. Thank you, Mark, again. Calvin Richards with his $5 holler saying Landry lost 3 championship games in a row, and no one talked about firing him. It was a championship game, though. Again, I feel like that metric is relatively important, right? And like we said, I think most of us, not saying we'd be happy to get to the NFC Championship game and lose, but
it'd be an improvement.
It would be an improvement, right?
28
we're taking
years ago.
Measurable, progressive steps forward within our limitations, right? And just so frustrating there. So, but yeah, and I do agree that the fact that it's a championship game, maybe also
championship. Well, it's not a championship game; it's a playoff game. I know we talk about championship games with Tom Landry, but the point is, Landry, we had some Super Bowls, we had some Super Bowl appearances with losses. It was more than just a championship game. You know what I'm saying? It's been 28 fucking years. It's going to go into 29 next year. So, anyways, look. What was it? Was in there one more comment? I don't want to skip through anybody's comment.
We did have JD from DC's comment. I want to make sure we finish touching on everything there. He said with his $5 holler, if we can't get Belichick, stay with Mike for another year. They will need a new defensive coordinator because Quinn is not mighty anymore. And let's look. I said it heading into the playoffs, win or lose. Quinn is very likely gone, although I have to admit, like I said, some of the shine is definitely wearing off of Quinn. He better go get his job ASAP before they, remember he can't coach.
We're going to discuss that as well. In fact, I know you got some Jerry Jones stuff. I'm sure you have some defensive stuff too.
Yes, I have both.
But the thing I want to discuss is injuries, and it doesn't really matter, I guess you could say, at this point going forward since season's fucking over. But I will say one quick injury here. One quick note. Stephon Gilmore. Yesterday, after playing through the pain with the brace and his shoulder and all that stuff, he is, again, not under contract with the Cowboys anymore after March 17th or whatever. But he is going to undergo shoulder surgery this week. For again, he has a right shoulder labrum tear. So he's had this tear. He played through it, guys. He played through it on Sunday. Valiant effort, although not great coverage by him. He lost coverage a couple of times. And he said he was prepared to continue doing it through the playoffs if, of course, we had won. He said, quote, I tried to give it all I've got. So, he did what he could. No digs, no real depth after Jordan Lewis. And there you go. He, had to do it. Listen, the Cowboys today had an open locker room in a team meeting today. All right? And Jordan Lewis, Cavante Turpin, TJ Bass, I think you have some of their quotes there, but Jerry Jones, yeah, motherfucking geezer here. He addressed the team today, and according to Jordan Lewis, Jerry Jones' message was, quote, we got to win. This is the Dallas Cowboys. We had everything to win. We can't let this feeling keep going on. End quote. And I'll get more into that again. I know you have some stuff on Jerry.
Yes, I do.
And post-game, I guess, here. But I just wanted to start off with that. And I'm going to actually, when you finish with Jerry, I'm going to end it with that again and remind everybody that as we get into the Belichick talk. So go ahead, baby. What did Jerry Jones say after the game?
So, Jerry would not speak on any head coaching moves. James Slater did manage to ask him, is there any pressure to kind of make a decision sooner rather than later, considering some of the names out there for available coaches, right? Like Bill Belichick. Jerry said, I haven't thought about that, but I do know how to do that and handle all those. Those aren't high-pressure situations coaches.
I lost you there, but...
Well, he said, I hadn't thought about that, but I do know how to do that and handle all those. Those aren't high-pressure situation coaches.
Oh, okay. Huh. Marco Sepien, though, always dropping the love here with that knowledge, with that $5 holler. What do you have to say, baby?
This loss was beyond embarrassing and set records doing it. I'd extend Dak for $47 million a year. Bill will change the mindset and bring discipline.
Hey, I'm saving it. I hope you're here, Mark, because in a couple of minutes I'm about to speak on it, on the Bill Belichick situation, because that was my thing from a couple of days ago and during this game. So I'll get back to it in a minute. Go ahead, baby. Much love to Mark. By the way, you said he's a troll. John Dalton now to 65 points on the stream boss. So good job chopping him down, guys. Appreciate you, Mark. The 5 on it.
So also asking, when are you going to sit down with McCarthy? Jerry said that he hasn't thought about it. Remember, this is all post-game. One of the other questions, of course, did you learn anything during the Jason Garrett era from dragging your feet and basically not letting him go maybe when he should have? Garrett said, quote,
Garrett?
Yeah, not letting Garrett go when he should have.
Oh, you said Garrett said, quote. And I
didn't. I said Jerry.
Okay, you said, okay. Jerry Jones said, quote, go ahead.
I don't know about that, but I know that we haven't gotten a Super Bowl at that time or now, as it turns out. Whatever I was doing back in those years didn't work, so I'll look at it from that perspective. Well,
That means he's going to cut his losses sooner, he's implying.
It sounds like he's McCarthy's not getting some second contract extension here, the way that I think Garrett got one. So, and obviously, where does this loss rank for him since he's been here since the fucking dinosaurs walked the earth, right? Jerry said, I can't reach back and look at a playoff loss, but this seems like the most painful because we all had such great expectations and had hope for this team. Had thought we were aligned and in great shape, and it didn't happen for us. It's as fresh on me right now as it is on anyone else, but I won't get into any of the addressing any aspects or any part from the coaching to the players to what's around the corner. I know where the responsibility starts and ends, and I've got that real clear. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm disappointed for everyone.
Well, it's good for him. But,
now we hear that and we almost think that Jerry's coming to some kind of clarity, maybe about his own responsibility and stuff like that. I want to make something clear. I think when he says stuff like that, he's not talking about himself.
And that's what I was going to say. The answer is
he's
them.
He's not included in that.
The answer is these two guys that's the clear issue. But Jerry Jones probably sees it as being everybody else, beginning with McCarthy probably. So
yeah, basically, at least that's how I kind of took it, especially based off those previous comments about the Garrett situation, kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Jane Slater out here doing the Lord's work because she kind of doubled down. I have to give a little bit of credit here to our Cowboy, Dallas Cowboy media that usually is very, very soft on this front office, right?
But she kept pushing.
She's like, what about the timeline? Again, for the fans who are asking about the head coaching direction, is that something that's going to be, is that decision made sooner rather than later? Jerry said, when I think about it, which I haven't thought 1 second about it, I know how much it means to our fans. What this loss means to me, again, I opened up by saying not how, why, who didn't do what, all that kind of thing. The only thing that was on my mind almost this entire game was not an analysis of our strategy, not an analysis of the play. It was, do we get the play here again next week? And we can't. And that could have happened by a point, or it could have happened the way it happened out there. That's all I'm thinking about. And that's all I've thought about. It is real, and we'll dismiss our team tomorrow, and that's as real as it gets. As opposed to going forward and having a shot at another game here at the stadium.
Yeah, well, lost chances there, Jerry. Because you got your little hands involved in everything, and this coach and this squad didn't have their guys ready, and the players didn't execute, and blah, 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 blah. Marco Sepien dropping that 55555 on it. What did the man say?
He said, if Jerry Jones wants a change, it starts with him. It starts with him.
Yep.
Fire Mike McCarthy now and give Bill a huge money contract. He's a Landry-like coach. You want to lose a chance for a guy like him?
And listen, here's the deal. Let's get into it. Because what Mr. Marco Sepien is saying is exactly what's on tap here next. And listen, we talked about this during the game, but we of course earlier in the week when Belichick was fired. My big thing for this was that, Jerry and him are friends. This is the kind of guy that would make a splash in the headlines.
It would.
And, hey, McCarthy looks like he's on his motherfucking way out.
The one thing I also want to add to this whole Belichick possibly yes or no coming to Dallas, which I haven't really seen too many people mention too. What gave people the impression that Bill Belichick, at his point in his life and career, wants to completely rebuild a franchise from the ground up?
Well,
because I genuinely think that he would much rather go in there and fix a franchise than to go in there and completely build one from scratch.
Now, and going into that, what happened today with Bill Belichick? Because we know he had interest from the Atlanta Falcons. That was the word yesterday. Today, Bill Belichick officially was interviewed by the Atlanta Falcons. So this man still wants to coach. He's got a fire about himself here coaching. And so
I know, but he also is, he's smart. He knows he has to play the game.
Right, he's got to go around, make his rounds. Here's the deal. The update on Bill Belichick's coaching carousel. It will be happening. The Falcons said, quote, we have interviewed Bill Belichick for our head coaching opening. So just so we know, legendary coach Bill Belichick and the Falcons owner, Arthur Blank, they met in person today. And they did this. I think they spent 6 hours speaking, on and on, saying throughout the day. On getting things together and about Atlanta's head coaching job. Just so you guys know, this we hear this a lot when guys visit us and they leave, and no deal is imminent. So he's just testing the waters, dipping his toe in there. It looks like Bill Belichick is doing. He's waiting for some other opportunities, and someone said there was a secret team out there still in the playoffs that had a lot of interest in him if they were out. So again, Cowboys, do they match that? McCarthy, look, he's plopping his ass off the field for good for the Cowboys. Again, even though I'm going to say he did help the offense, he helped Dak, but the reality is, like Dak doesn't maybe have it without the right exact circumstances. McCarthy don't have it without the right circumstances. Belichick, he's had the Tom Brady situation, but also has done it in a lot of different ways. He is a mastermind. I said this the other day. He's like Vince Lombardi. Like Vince Lombardi, even older, would you want him on your team? A mind that can break down football in many different ways and get the most out of your players? Hell yeah. Landry was losing it there at the end. New ownership, Jerry Jones, so kicked them right out there unceremoniously. But the point is that these guys, when they're still at the top of their game with the right players on their team, especially, that's already kind of half built. This Cowboy team is that. Belichick is a guy you listen to. He gets shit done. So I've been saying Belichick is a great option for the Cowboys if we're going to keep the team together. So when I look at it like this, guys, no deal's imminent between the Belichick and the Falcons, but there is mutual interest and conversations are ongoing. That is the update there. But what's the update for us? I already said some of it. They're friends. Jerry Jones and Bill Belichick are friends. And with the long list of candidates that are right now getting thrown around to replace McCarthy, there's 3 names I want to focus on. 3 names. But the number one name is Bill Belichick here to the left of the screen. Maybe looking like that for Cowboy games if he becomes our head coach. But
he'll wear the hoodie with the cutoff sleeves because it's Dallas, so it'll be a little warmer,
Yeah, again, the thing with him is that he's going to, his name has popped up in every sports book, every betting is the number one option right now for the Cowboys, the most favored option. Belichick is probably the most known, most sought after coach right now of the whole group. regarded as one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. 6 Super Bowl wins to his name. Also very close friends with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. You know, they love their buddies. Aside from Belichick, though, who else would be out there? There's other 2 common names. Mike Vrabel has been mentioned. And Jim Harbaugh from the Michigan Wolverines from college just won the national championship. So Vrabel posted, winning seasons in his first 4 years as a head coach of the Titans. And his mentor is Bill Belichick. Things kind of fizzled out, and the offense became stale and unreliable under Vrabel there in Tennessee. Harbaugh, great success in the NFL with the Niners. Pretty sure they went into the Super Bowl, right? Played brother versus brother, and the Ravens beat the Niners in that Super Bowl. But went to the Michigan Wolverines, just won a national championship. Had a lot of controversy there, of course. I mean, that's what we need in this team. But either way, no matter how you break it down, I wouldn't mind Harbaugh. He's a good coach to get in there. He gets shit done. I also would definitely not mind someone like Bill Belichick, who has direct connections with the Cowboy front office, the owner, GM, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. So it's just there's nothing else we can really talk about this. You're not going to just make up stuff and dig any deeper. You really can't. But I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you think, baby, about the Bill Belichick and the other options, Vrabel and Harbaugh. What are your thoughts about these guys? But first, to hear about Mark Hovsepian's thoughts as he drops that 5 on it.
Well, thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. $5 holler saying, offer Dak $47 million a year with allowing a trade. Develop Lance and get Bill. Use 11 as a selling point. We need fine-tuning and discipline. That's a Bill Belichick team.
That's not going to happen. You cannot. Yeah. You can't. What was that?
There's you're not.
Yeah, allowing a trade.
Dak,
that's not going to happen.
Like it or not, Dak holds pretty much all the cards in that regard. So not saying that somehow he's going to be able to blackmail the Cowboys into paying him that $60 million. You're so scared, they might be forced to pay him. But, there's no way Dak voluntarily gives up control over where he ends up, right? Like, that's the whole point of the trade clause there.
Every quarterback...
He's not going to let that happen.
Let me just say it like this. If Dak Prescott went to any other team in the NFL that wanted his services and got paid even $45 million, $40 million, $45, a no-trade clause would be part of that. Most probably. Maybe not 45, maybe 50. But if you get that top 10, the top 5 quarterback money, which he will be getting, that no trade clause will not be included. It would be forced into it. It would be a no trade clause unless, here's the deal, unless Dak Prescott himself has to waive that clause, and then he'll be allowed to be traded. That only happens if it's really, really bad in Dallas, and he's like, all right, I'll go to this team. If you get me to that team, I'll go. And he'll waive the trade clause if he gets traded to the blank team,
Yeah, but kind of rolling back as far as the whole,
yes.
Actual...
Much love, Mark. Appreciate it, by the way. But let's roll to the coaching here.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Belichick,
as far as,
Harbaugh,
Belichick,
Vrabel.
First of all, Vrabel, great guy. Nothing against him. We got too many problems. I can't see him standing up to Jerry the way that is necessary.
I agree. I think he's the last on my list.
Harbaugh and Belichick are the only 2 that I would say actually might have a chance of doing that. And Harbaugh, to me, is just, too untested and unproven, at least on an NFL side of things.
Well, I want to remind you, he took the Niners with Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl to play his brother, who had Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens, who beat them in a close game where the lights went out at halftime. But my point is that don't underestimate Harbaugh. He is a damn good coach. Gets a lot from his guys. A younger coach than Belichick. My bigger question is, who's the GM? Like, does Belichick want a GM? It doesn't sound like he wants a GM. He'll let Jerry handle it. Maybe Jerry Jones would listen to someone like Belichick, who is not like a guy that he's bringing in. Like, he's not bringing in Jimmy Johnson as like, hey, it's my guy Jimmy, right? He's bringing in legendary coach like he did with Bill Belichick. Legendary coach, I'm sorry, he did that with Bill Parcells. Will he do it with Bill Belichick in a similar way? I don't know. But I don't know if Jerry. I think Jerry can't help himself. He was still involved heavily when it came to Parcells. Kind of drove Parcells away. Anyways, much love, Mark Hovsepian taking John Dalton, who ate the middle half point of the board of the stream boss. 250 points right there with the 5 on it. What did the man say?
He said he did jack for Dak. like I said, the two teams that were top 5 Ds, we scored 10 points. New England ranked 15th, and Dak? I'm guessing you mean Dak, right? Yeah, New England ranked 15th, and Dak had 1 touchdown. All other defenses ranked 25 or worse.
Again, that was a different offensive scheme we were running then, though, Mark. With the Patriots game, we were running the conservative freaking dink and dunk shit. So
wasn't that like week 2?
No, the Patriots were week 4.
True,
but the
point
remember
it was in the
it was just I don't look at those.
Week 2.
That doesn't really bother me with those stats there. We crushed the Jets and dink and dunk our way down the field, and that's what I'm just saying. Like that was a different offense. So I do think McCarthy helped Dak Prescott in the sense of we saw what works for this offense with Dak motion, and the different setups that we had with Dak there and how we use it. We used to have to rely on the play action. We don't have to do the play action as much with Dak. So there's a lot of things I think that did show that we did with McCarthy's offensive scheme and kind of definitely better than Kellen Moore's scheme. You know what I mean? More suited for Dak Prescott with McCarthy's scheme than someone like Kellen Moore is what I'm trying to say. Failure still with the bumbling of time management and getting your guys ready. That's the problem with Mike McCarthy. That's the problem. To me, to some of that, he had some of those similar issues with getting the team, not necessarily ready, but it was a similar thing. Ready, management of the clock, of the situation. That was one of his biggest issues with Green Bay, as well as he cared less and less as his tenure ended there in Green Bay. He had less control of things. I'm not saying that happened here, but McCarthy just doesn't know how to, he knows how to get them kind of feel like they're ready for games, but they don't seem ready when it comes to the big games. And that starts from McCarthy in my mind. Belichick will get them ready, I'll tell you that.
I think McCarthy has proven he fits the Dallas Cowboys perfectly. Regular season, McCarthy is that guy. Clearly. Postseason, McCarthy is the Dallas Cowboy.
Damn.
Can't seem to, get the deal closed when it counts.
That hurts, baby.
But you know what?
Truth hurts.
It is. It is painful because it is true. It would be funny maybe if it was a lie. Maybe it'd be like a little joke we play amongst ourselves, right? But nope, this is the reality we live in.
Calvin Richard dropping that $2 holler right there.
So, by the way, I think he blocked out Mark's 5.
Might have. He might have. Oh, I'm looking closer. I can't tell if it was. It looks like he did, yeah.
I think he did.
So, what are the both their drops? Mr. Marco
Seppian
with 5.
Mark followed it up with the $2 holler after that. But first,
all right.
Calvin Richards said maybe Jimmy Johnson wants to coach again.
I wish that was true.
The way he looked at halftime and his commentary there, he looked ready to switch for another team. He was. Again, we've seen Jimmy angry. You know what I mean? Obviously, as a coach, it's different. But damn, Jimmy was like pissed.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy's ever going to coach again. As far as it's not at best Harbaugh or Bill Belichick, in my opinion.
So, and there's Marco Seppian.
There's that too.
His drop. There's the $2 holler, but the previous $5 holler, he said, "No way in hell he's worth top 5 money. What did that huge contract get us with Dak last time? And Dak's surrounded by talent. We need change."
Mark, I agree. I agree with you in the sense that, but now Mark, I'm letting you know the situation for the Cowboys is we're locked in to the best. Again, here's the thing. I know Mark said just let him go and take the hit. That'd be dumb. In the sense of we're paying $62 million or $60 million plus another $25 million in a 2-year span. We're talking about almost $90 million between 2024 and 2025, and we're not going to get one snap from him if we cut him. So you keep Dak one more year, and I think he did. I apologize. I know he did kind of re-say that. You let him play out his contract, and you take the hit in the sense of you either take the hit this year and to take the whole 60, or you restructure it and move 20 next year, and now you got a total of like 60 million of dead cap money next year with no Dak Prescott at all, and you got $60 million you got to throw away next year. So there's a lot of options you can play with this. That's the way out of it the soonest. Still going to be a major kick in the nuts, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to run with Trey Lance and just have some bad years in the NFL, right? So I think it comes down to what Belichick's plan would be. That's when it refers to this situation. What is we talked about who we would bring in or what would we do with Dak. What if Belichick says, I really want... Let me just bring this up to Mark and everybody else. Mm-hmm. What if Belichick meets with Jerry? They're friendly, and Steven, and he says, listen, I would love to work with Trey Lance. Okay. And then the Cowboys will kind of go that direction. What if they say, what if Bill Belichick says, I really want to work with Dak Prescott. Like, I think I know what I can do to fix this situation. We got the pieces with my thought, but whatever he says, it's not even a sell. This is not like a McCarthy car salesman shit.
Yeah, it's
they know him. They know him. They know that he ain't gonna bullshit them in that way. At least I don't. He might. I don't know. I guess everyone will bullshit, but they know him. So my point is, I think it would be a little bit more, like a little more control for Belichick than maybe most coaches would have under Jerry and Stephen Jones. I think just knowing them, he'll be more of a GM-ish kind of guy, right? We'll get some little extra input, extra kudos for his 2 cents on things. We'll have to earn it less because of his previous winnings, because of his friendship with Jerry Jones. So I think there's a way that Belichick immediately improves his team. Even if we have to lose a couple guys, you had to keep Dak one more year. Let's see what Dak can do under Belichick. You still got your 3 receivers, although I think you move on from Gallup, save money there. You got Tolbert, right? Right, Mark? You got Tolbert in there. You got to move in and get Gallup out. He had a great last game, but bon voyage, I think, for $11, $12 million a year for Gallup. So there's a way we can get out of that contract. The offensive line is set. I think they're pretty much paid up and good to go. I think other than Biotish at center, which I know Mark wanted to move on from, so maybe draft the center in this upcoming draft. My point is that the offense is kind of set. Ferguson is great. We're good. We're going to get some of these guys back from injury next year. Offensively, Belichick, all he has to do is get an offensive coordinator that will know this offense. And why not? Who I would get for the offensive coordinator if I'm Belichick? Mike McCarthy. Just saying, this is the offensive play caller. Because Belichick is a defensive-minded guy here. Much love to Marco. I'm just throwing shit out, by the way. It's kind of a rant for the future. But appreciate you, Mark, with the $5 holler. Another 5 on it. What did the man say? He's dominating this week, kicking off a new week into the first week into the offseason.
I said either play out his contract or sign. Him, TJ, like $47 million a year. Just not top 5 money. It's not like he sucks. He's just too hyped up. Orale.
Oh, I hear you, man. And listen, I think that Dak would get a contract, unfortunately, higher than 47. That's just, and I agree with you. I wish it wasn't, but that's the market. That's the way it's gonna be, because it's gonna be MVP type season with a loss in the playoffs, which, it's gonna be enough to get him the 50 million plus. So when it comes to Dak Prescott, that's one issue. There's no salary cap when it comes to coaches. So billionaire, multi-billion-dollar heir, Jerry Jones can't afford to buy out the last year of McCarthy's contract and pay whatever it takes to get a Bill Belichick in the mix. So sticking to the Bill Belichick thing, and again, I know you talked about Vrabel. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like the last one on your list.
He is, and like I said, it's not anything against him.
You said Harbaugh didn't have the experience, but I was correcting you on that. I think we got off a track. So what do you think about Harbaugh as an option? Jim Harbaugh from Michigan. They just won a national championship. Got the Niners back in 10 years ago, 12 years ago to the Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick as the quarterback.
I'm still going to stand by my original statement only because, again, yeah, he has some experience. It's not like he's a complete nothing or no one. Hard to beat Bill Belichick's experience, though, is what I'm trying to say.
He's a legendary coach.
He is, but he is still...
No, I'm saying Belichick's a legendary coach. That's the difference.
Exactly. So, Belichick outcoaches him in that regard. And I have to add that other factor there, which is that culture factor. Again, nothing against Harbaugh, nothing against Vrabel. I just think that the type of culture that goes against everything we've seen here so far is more of the Belichick-style culture. You know what I mean?
You know what the culture is?
I feel like Vrabel
just win.
I feel like Vrabel, unfortunately, would end up getting almost like manipulated into following what the Joneses would want.
But Belichick is friendly with them, and he'll tell them what he wants to see. I think Belichick would have that kind of pull. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Michael Jordan coming to a team and saying, here's how I want to play basketball. You're going to listen to Michael Jordan, even if you're the owner of the team, right? So Bill Belichick, I think, has the best chance to manipulate this team to get the best out of them. And listen, Belichick, I hate the cheating stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
But the man only wants to win. Like, he just wants to win. He lives at the fucking offices. So, McCarthy's a nice guy. You know, he sells you a lot of bullshit, and he helps your quarterback here and there. But Belichick wants to fucking win. So, just saying. To me, at this point in our situation, I don't think starting over with a whole new team and bursting this team into pieces is a smart move. I think we got to take what we got and get a guy that knows his shit, like Bill Belichick, and let him rebuild the little bit we need left to make one more desperate run at this thing. I ain't saying it's fixed, just a desperate fucking run at this thing. Marco Seppian, another 1-2, J. Lou, dollar holler.
Thank you so much, Mark. He said, "No, McCarthy, don't need a rebuild. Just a tune-up."
So I'm saying McCarthy as an offensive coordinator is all I said or as an offensive, he won't take this spot, but I'd say as a quarterback coach for Dak, I think he's actually helped Dak a lot. But I think Belichick, you have to find an offensive coordinator. Belichick will have to bring in one of his guys, offensive coordinator, that's kind of up on things and have to have, use a lot of weapons that we have in this team through a quarterback named Dak Prescott. Remember that. And I think Belichick will have a lot of say in that. But Belichick's going to work the defense. We know it's not going to be I'm going to get to Dan Quinn in a minute. But I want to make sure that we finish with Belichick and all the comments in the chat, your thoughts on these guys. And again, I'm also adding Jim Harbaugh in there and Vrabel, which are two other names.
I remember that too. Ikill said, watch Bill's breakdown of the Cowboys when they played this season.
Yep. We read the entire fucking quote. He broke us down from like every last molecule.
Page essay on how to dissect these Dallas Cowboys, and he did it like off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Like
a robot.
Insanity.
I'll take that kind of coach. Sorry, I like that kind of coach. I'm old school like that. So
I said I think that's the type of coach the Dallas needs, because obviously
at this point, yes,
give McCarthy like the tiniest smidge of credit in that, again, he did move our team forward. He did help them progress
until the playoffs.
Right?
We regressed.
Drop the freaking rope there.
I know.
But it's like, how do you take those things that he has done and basically how do you progress forward from that?
Well, you get someone like Bill Belichick to run the show. What are other people? Anybody else saying anything about Belichick or?
Let me see. About Belichick specifically, Jared Jones said, "I can pay for Coach Prime's son's college tuition for the rest of the year." So he said, "I'm going to hire Coach Prime because we need some bling on our team."
Well, he's not coming right now.
He's well, hey, that's Jared himself saying it, so who knows?
Hey, Jared might pull it out of his hat.
Green Glass Full, appreciate you, much love. Go Cowboys. He said, "Do any Cowboy fans think Trey Lance is any good?"
Well, yeah.
Unfortunately, way more than I thought.
Think that he's good?
Yes, and it's not, like I said, it's not that I necessarily think he's bad as much as it is, no, he is not the answer. No, replacing Dak with Trey Lance is not the answer. I just want to make that very clear.
Yeah, and again, I 100% agree. The one thing I want to remind people is that, unfortunately, it's Jerry Jones's big move there, right? So he might say, "Hey, look at my move. I found our next big quarterback. I found our next big great move we made." So Jerry Jones, the kind of guy, and Stephen Jones, they'll take the credit for Trey Lance and push him in the mix. I hope he's okay. He's got a high value, good DNA when it comes to like being a high value quarterback. It all remains to be seen. Trey Lance is a fourth round quarterback for us in a sense, right? So as far as he any good, I think he has potential. I do think he has potential, but how good is he? We got to have the right quarterback coach to develop him, the right offensive mind to develop him. And I mean, he wasn't able to play one snap this year for us on the field, under McCarthy. I think that was the plan. I don't think it was McCarthy failed. I think that was the plan. So, yeah, much love, Green. Green Glass Full up on that board, taking John Dalton to 34 points. Like you said, maybe a troll. Dropping quickly there in danger zone, code red for John Dalton. So, anyways, any last comments before we move on to our last topic, which is Dan Quinn and his defense that failed us tremendously?
Of course. So, first of all, shout out again. Marco Seppian with that $5 holler. He said...
Oh, it's coming through, I guess. That'll take John to 29 points on the stream, boss.
He said, "That's where I 100% disagree with you two. Blowing out the worst Ds in the league is not progress. Progress is beating good Ds, which we have not."
Again, I guess that's something you can say. And we played some poor defenses. That's why I said to Mark, we played a poor defense against Green Bay. Yeah, they're ranked in the high 20s, I think, on defense, stopping the run, or in low 20s stopping the run, high 20s and stopping the pass. So they were all around shitty defense. Why couldn't we dominate them at home? That's my question. What happened there? Where was the failure there? We couldn't dominate a team at home that has a horrible pass and run defense. Well, I think it's not just that we just suck. I don't think that's the answer. I think it's coaching. It starts with McCarthy.
I agree.
Starts with McCarthy.
So, but yeah, Belichick would obviously, when we say bringing in Belichick as a head coach, I do also want to clarify. We're kind of implying as well that he'll be, bringing in / making his own decisions when it comes to offensive, defensive coordinator, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't really want to speculate on that just because I have no idea who Belichick would want in those roles as of now.
We'll talk about Dan Quinn in a moment, but Dan Quinn, if he goes anywhere, which he probably will, he's going to take guys with him too. Right? Joe Witt Jr. and Aiden Durde and other guys will be going with Dan Quinn to whichever team he may go, which right now may be the Seattle Seahawks. We'll talk again. I'm letting you guys kind of get it all out right now because I want to hear everyone's comments and thoughts on this. As John Dalton is holding on. C.J. Goodwin, 29 points. Forget that. The old J-Ron Curse number, 27. the old Trayvon Diggs number 27 there. Green glass full with the $2 holler.
Ooh, thank you. Appreciate you.
What do you say?
Go Cowboys, go Cowboys. I feel bad for y'all, though.
Yes, I see he's not a Cowboy fan, but we say go Cowboys, and I don't care what team you represent. Go Cowboys.
Always.
Yes. So, listen, wrapping this up, I'm just going to say it like this. I think that Belichick, if we were getting let's say we were getting building a new team from the ground, I don't know if Belichick would be my number one choice for that. Maybe Jim Harbaugh would be a better choice for something like this. But if we are building with half a team that's already a core of our team is going to be here, if not most of the team. If you look at the offense, it's going to be most of the same guys. You look at the defense, it's going to be a high majority of the same guys. Some will be gone, but some others will come in there. We're going to have to draft again. Will McClay's going to have to bring in the guys, and hopefully these guys develop them, the coaching staff that's brought in, if McCarthy and Dan Quinn and all of them are gone. So what I'm trying to say is if we had a younger team all around, I'd say Jim Harbaugh might be the better move for us, especially long-term wise. But on a short-term kind of situation with Bill Belichick and Dak Prescott, even if we extend them for 2 more years, I think that we would be it would be beneficial to get the last ounces of a legendary coach and make some kind of chance of run for that 6th title for us. Because in New England, he had a decent defense, actually, but the fucking offense and that Mac Jones, just nothing. And Dak is much better than Mac Jones. So I think Belichick knows he can do a lot more with the talent we have on this team. They didn't have a talent in their team. I mean, Zeke was their best player. So I'm making a joke, but not that far off a joke. So what I'm trying to say is that the Cowboys have a lot more talent. Bill Belichick knows he can work and really do something with the talent we have on this team. So if we're not going to blow it all up and start over, and we're going to keep some of the main guys we just signed recently, some of the guys we're going to have to sign here in this upcoming offseason, like CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and maybe extending Dak, no matter what we do, Bill Belichick, to me, in the short term, is the best option for this Cowboy team. We need somebody who's going to kick these fucking prima donnas in the asses. And Bill Belichick ain't going to take any shit. Mike McCarthy is controlled by the Joneses. But Bill Belichick's friendship with the Joneses gives him an advantage that nobody had ever, other than Jimmy Johnson. Yeah. Until that soured when he wanted a full.
Johnson Cowboys brings up an interesting point, though, saying Harbaugh's won everywhere he's been.
That's true.
And would bring a competent staff with him. I hate the starting over, but we need to get past the mental breakdown and lack of discipline.
And that's a great point there. But Harbaugh had to start off with Dak Prescott. And so, it's not his guy. Is that the guy he wants? That's a big question. How much control? Because no one's GMing here. The guy coming closest to GMing is the guy on the left of your screen, Bill Belichick. because he's in with the family. Mm-hmm. He's in with the Joneses. So he's got his say counts more than Mike McCarthy, than Garrett. It means more than Parcells. It means more than, anybody. I'm saying Bill Belichick counts more than anybody that's ever been here before, other than Jimmy Johnson, who was friends with Jerry Jones. You see, friends, they have more say when they're on this team coaching.
Of course. So, let me see. I'm seeing a few different comments here about Vrabel. MH said, Vrabel would be my pick. SD420 said, I don't know about Vrabel. I do like he comes from the Belichick tree. Ikill said, Vrabel hasn't proven anything. Why do you want him?
4 years of starting
John Connor
off.
said, we need a coach that's going to release the pressure suffocating this franchise.
Oh, I think that if that's the case, I think Belichick's the one that gives us the best chance to get his hands on the GMing side of things. To get into Jerry Jones's head. He'd be the best guy, in my opinion. But I like the hardball comment. Whoever said that was a great comment because he will bring a competent staff. You just got to work with Dak Prescott to start off things with. And again, will he take Trey Lance and make him Colin Kaepernick and take us to the Super Bowl? There's that as well. So there's a lot of options. Mike McCarthy on his way out, in my opinion. You know who else on his way out here? We thought the defense was horrible. A lot of missed tackles. But let's finish up. I don't want to leave these guys up on the screen. But let's finish up with what's going to happen with our defense. And again, if any other comments, maybe let me know in the chat. And of course, much love to everybody who's dropped the love right now.
Yeah, Justin D. saying, Vrabel never coached under Belichick.
Is he not from the same tree? Belichick tree? I didn't say that. I don't know.
No. I'm just reading the comments. I think I had read a comment earlier saying that they were from the same tree.
Okay, I think you did make a mention of that.
So
someone said it in the chat. But anyways, let's talk about another guy here in this group here, and I'm gonna just throw him right in the mix. Dan Quinn. So according to the Bleacher Report, the Seattle Seahawks today Seattle Seahawks put in a request to interview Cowboy defensive coordinator Dan Quinn for their head coach opening. And again, that was something that wasn't official until today. So we knew he was going to be one of the options for them. We knew this.
Yeah.
But now it's official. So he will be, of course, a very strong candidate, in the specific Seattle Seahawks organization, because he has ties already back there with Pete Carroll as being a advisor to the team. He'll definitely be pulling and pushing to get Dan Quinn over there in Seattle. So, again, a total of now 5 requests for Dan Quinn. The Carolina Panthers, Tennessee Titans, Washington Commanders, Los Angeles Chargers, and now officially the Seattle Seahawks. So let me just say this real quick here. Again,
no surprises.
The order of things going down, defensive coordinator Dan Quinn is going to interview with the Carolina Panthers and the Tennessee Titan job on Wednesday. So a couple days from now. The Commanders job, he'll interview for that one on Thursday. And the Chargers, he'll interview on Friday. So basically Wednesday 2, Thursday 1, Friday 1.
It sounds like he's taking it, I hate to say it, from least serious to most serious in a way.
Yeah, Seattle's not yet on the schedule, as you can see. He's saving them for last. But by the way, all 4 of these will be Zoom interviews.
Okay.
Not in person. I have a feeling the Seattle one may be in person though. Dan Quinn's offensive coaches, guys. Listen to this. This is the Dan Quinn tree right here. All right? Dan Quinn's offensive coaches in 2016 when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl but blew that game because we did too much offense.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, which is Packers, which just beat us, and Mike McDaniel from the Dolphins. Shanahan, of course, is the Niners. That puts Dan Quinn right now. Dan Quinn is 0-6 against all his former coaches that coached on offense against him. For him. So, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Mike McDaniel, 0-6 for Dan Quinn when he's playing against his former offensive coaches. That is not very good when it comes to guys that maybe figured him out. Now, what did Dan Quinn do? I'm going to say it real quick here. What did Dan Quinn do wrong in this game? So,
please go ahead. Sorry, I'm laughing only because it's like, damn,
a lot.
We even have time for that, but yes, we do.
There was a lot of times there was 12 personnel against us. Green Bay had 2 tight ends, shows like a running play, a heavy lineup, right? The Cowboys were outnumbered with the way we placed our guys on the defensive side. We had guys kind of faded back farther, not on the line of scrimmage as much. And again, this comes down to the linebackers. Like Marquise Bell and Damone Clark. And our offense and our defensive line, like Mozzie Smith, too small. These guys were too small for,
for the job we were asking them to do.
For the 12-man personnel. So we see 12-man personnel and we go small. Dan Quinn, what's going on, right? Again, 18th game of the year, right? 18th game of the season. And Dan Quinn wanted to stick with this game plan. That's what I didn't understand from him. Now, there are some reasons for this. Now, we tried to get Darius Leonard. I don't think it was a real try, to be honest. But we supposedly wanted to get Darius Leonard at linebacker, a run stopper that we missed out on. He went to the Eagles. Hasn't done that much. But Darius Leonard did not come to us. He went to the Eagles. And you have Damone Clark. You said it earlier. I mean, he was learning on the job. At times, that hurt the Cowboys and him missing his run gap assignments. It's too small when it comes to Marquise Bell overall. They were running guys at him, bigger guys. Usually, he was pushed out that play. So the Cowboys trying to put a Band-Aid on that massive issue of a run-stopping linebacker. And again, we got fucked for it. And it's not an excuse. That's exactly what happened. And you add in there the injury to LVE, which of course you can't help it, but not that he was the greatest guy ever, but he was a better middle linebacker than we got in the game there. When you have that and you have to then replace them with guys that aren't even actual linebackers, well, Dan Quinn had to basically play dime defense most of the time. I'll explain in a minute, but first, the man Mark Hovsepian with a $2 holler.
Woo! He said, "Why would you play a nickel D when they are running?"
That's the 12 personnel package. When they're running two tight ends, you're like, okay, that is a run show. Why are we playing off the line of scrimmage? Why are we playing with such small guys? Well, that's all Dan Quinn. The reason is, I'm telling you, that's all we had left, guys. Without LVE, the Cowboys had to play dime deep. This is something that's a fact. Cowboys had to play dime defense. That means 6 defensive backs. That you include Marquise Bell in there. That's 6 defensive backs. We're going real light a lot of the time. 70% of the time, guys, this year, 70%, 7 out of 10 plays, we played dime defense. All right?
Something about that seems wrong now,
we did not have enough players to cover what Dan Quinn was trying to do schematically. When you have guys that are too small, that we're having 6 defensive backs, quote-unquote, defensive backs, in a play where it's 12 personnel on offense, and they're going to run on us. On top of that, Damone Clark and Marquise Bell were taking bad runs, attacks on their run gaps and the holes they're supposed to cover. They were so off and so bad. It was too easy for the Packers. What they did was embarrassing to us, running the ball on us, and the way that we the way that Dan Quinn was forced to play. It's not all on Dan Quinn, but the way he was forced to play with a smaller linebacking core and a lot of dime defense. I mean, it's not like he wanted to do that. He had to do that. But he had to do that because that was his scheme called for. Much love to Mark. Another 1-2 shot right there.
That's right.
$2 holler, which, by the way, takes John Dalton to 23 points. Yes, a known troll takes over the board there, but it's already down to 23 points in the stream boss. Much love once again to Marco Seppian and everybody else to help chip away at that guy's stream boss. What did the man Mark have to say with that J. Lou $2 holler?
You realize we asked Mozzie to lose 30 pounds? Stupid.
Is that the comment? Because
yes, it is.
I've mentioned that in the past, and a couple weeks ago I mentioned that.
Makes sense.
Makes fucking zero sense. The guy was ranging between 330 to 350. They want to lose a little bit of right, 320, whatever. That's it. He was at 330. Now he's down to 295. And he, by the way, that's one of the guys I was referring to. Like I said, Mozzie Smith, in some of these 12 personnel packages, Mozzie Smith playing a 3-tech. 3-tech. We drafted him to be a nose tackle 1-tech type of guy. And we're making him lose weight to move him to a 3-tech? Is that 8 and dirty? Is that Dan Quinn? Whoever that is, fuck that pickup. I'm just letting you know, guys, and part of my rant, if Mozzie Smith is going to stay at 295, and play a 3-tech, a spot we got a lot of other guys in, we fucked ourselves. We're looking for an inside pass rusher, not a fucking replacement for Hankins, not a run stopper. And that, my friends, would be a wasted pick. That's a Taco Charlton pick, if that's the direction we go with him. In this first year, I'm not going to call it a bust in a career, but it's a first-year rookie bust like Tolbert last year, and Tolbert bounced back nicely. Well, Mozzie Smith's a bust right now, but how will he bounce back? I don't know, but as a 3-tech, I don't give a fuck what he does there. I don't see him being any good at 3-tech when we drafted him to be a 1-tech, a guy under the center or to the left or right of that center. So that's a big... I agree with Mark 100%. That's a fucking disgrace. And whoever said that, Aiden Dirty is the defensive line coach, but Dan Quinn had to authorize it. He's defensive coach, and he's also... his specialty is defensive line for Dan Quinn. So, yeah, I'm fucking pissed about that too, brother. I'm with him. I don't know what the fuck the Cowboys... That's not on Mozzie Smith. That's on coaching. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They're all getting blame here.
I know, but this is where we can start making those types of distinctions, right? Pointing out those moments where this was coaching and pointing out those moments where, especially earlier in the game, it was just pure execution. Right? Nothing wrong with the play called. Right. Everything wrong with
just
the way
so frustrating. It was executed. So frustrating, guys. So John Dalton, by the way, got the Rico Dowdle up there. Thank you, Mark, with the drop. Who I don't know why I have him tied in first place. He's in first place by himself right now among everybody else. So when you look at this 70% dime defense, didn't have enough players to do what he wanted to do in his defensive scheme. And the thing is this: you saw, guys, if you watched the game, how many? You remember that Packer guy that was wide open, the tight end, the backup tight end? Remember number 87, Dobbs, that was open constantly the whole fucking game? Not open, wide fucking open. Mm-hmm. I'll get to that in a minute. The man, Mark, he's dropped another 5 on it, baby. What did Mark Hovsepian say with his dominating performance today?
My point
Unlike
to the season is we played the 30th ranked strength of schedule, and both on defense and offense, we had great stats. Play better teams, and you'll see what we are.
I'm with you, man. Hey, we agree on most of these things, even if it's not. I think the home field was the bigger difference than the strength of schedule. But we can argue this till we're blue in the face. We both understand this team not good enough, doesn't have it. Whether it's coaching, player execution, front office mismanagement, it's a clown show. It's a fucking circus. That's all I can say, brother. I'm with you on this. By the way, that takes John Dalton to 18 points. Jalen Tolbert on that board. Just want to finish up, though, baby. There was a couple of plays that was so bad. Number 87, Dubs, constantly open in that game. Backup tight end was wide open for a touchdown with nobody in front of him. It was a junior high level defensive mistakes, guys. I'm talking about high school, like not even your seniors, junior level. I mean, to me, it's like it was very pitiful high school breakdowns by the defense yesterday. Over and over again, guys. The back 6 and 7 guys in coverage were horrible. They fucked up a lot of mistakes, a lot of major mistakes when it came to leverage, when it came to knowing who's helping you and where your help is coming from. Blatant irresponsibility, not doing their job. I'm talking about run stop and in coverage with your linebackers and your cover guys. I'm talking about Deron Bland, J-Ron Curse, and others. Stephon Gilmore getting lost against number 87. Again, compromising the integrity of the entire defensive back end, the backfield. That was what you saw from this defense last night. And again, it happened over and over and over again, Dan Quinn. So you can get the motherfucker out of here as far as I'm concerned. When you see number 87, Joshua, I don't know, that wasn't Joshua Dobbs. What was his name? Dobbs. He just, number 87, wide open, broke off a route on his own. It wasn't even the play call. He got open against Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore lost Dobbs. And again, Dobbs read the defense. It was a deep over off max protection. That's what the Packers ran. They knew what was going to happen there. So instead of going into the Cowboy coverage, Dobbs, a guy who was just like a young fucking receiver, cut the route off and made his own play, got into the open spot. And Jordan Love found him for a huge gain. It was happening over and over again. And guys like Gilmore were getting blendered in there on the field. You had a lot of busted coverage. And it was over again, busted coverage after busted coverage. And it was against our man defense And we played a lot of fucking ugly-ass zone yesterday as well. Shitty fucking zone. Too much fucking zone. So, zones were not working. Man was not working. We blitzed sometimes, but nothing was working, guys. Communication as a whole on this defense, starting with Dan Quinn, communication was off. And the guys were awful on that defense yesterday. Marco Seppian dropping another 1-2 drop. Dollar holler, J. Lou style with 16 points left for John Dalton on the stream, boss. What did Mark have to say?
He said, "My point to the season is, we played the 30th ranked strength of schedule, and both on DNO we had great stats, play better teams, and you'll see what we are."
Well, that's why you got to get someone like Bill Belichick.
And he followed that up with a $2 holler saying, "It's sad when us non-pros see this, and they don't."
Yeah, it's pitiful. I mean, it's embarrassing that, and I don't want to say we know everything. I mean, we all have our opinions, and sure, sometimes we make mistakes. You know, we all make mistakes, but my goodness, some of this stuff is blaring. I mean, it's blatant. I made a new word, blaring. It's blatant and glaring mistakes from this defense, from Dan Quinn's scheme, whether he was forcing his scheme and didn't have the players. Why was that happening, guys? And again, Dan Quinn's going to suffer the consequences. But why didn't we have the guys that we needed at linebacker? Why didn't we have the bigger guys inside? Some of that could be on this defensive coaching staff, taking Mozzie and dropping him down. But I think a lot of this was not allowed to be gotten out in free agency and spend the money, and that comes back to the clown show, unfortunately. Now, look, let me ask you a question. Mozzie Smith getting moved, the reason why you drop weight in something like this is because you want him to be more of a pass rusher than a run stopper. Do you think that was Dan Quinn's decision? It could have been, and I'll blame him for it. Yeah. But I have this gut feeling that Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, they might have wanted him to see more of a pass rushing kind of guy and said, if we want to make him a pass rusher, let's see him kind of enable those kind of qualities, and the way you do that is by losing weight. So I don't know if, I just don't know if that was the Cowboy coaching staff decision on Mozzie Smith, or was it a motherfucking clown show's decision? I don't know. Just got this weird feeling that someone here in the front office was like, let's use him as a 3-tech pass rusher. And if that's the case, it's not on Dan Quinn. It's on the clown show, and we wasted a pick with Mozzie Smith if we did that. That's my humble opinion on that. I don't know what else I can say, but it is just painful to know that would be a first round high value pick, and wasting it, dropping 30 pounds, making him a 3-tech, trying to make him a pass rusher. A guy was brought in to be a pass rusher. I mean, to be a run stopper. We're gonna use him as a pass rusher. What the fuck? So that's the kind of shit I just don't. That's called mismanagement, and McCarthy's allowed it because the Joneses allow it, and it goes down to the players too. It's allowed. It's a culture. I'm telling you right now, Bill Belichick probably wouldn't allow this shit. And he's more in it. He's more intertwined with the Joneses in a personal level. So I think he'll have more of a say than any other coach out there. Bring in Belichick. I'll take Belichick in there. Or Harbaugh. I'm good with either guy. Get these other two fucking guys out of here. Marco Seppian in here with that $2 J. Lou holler. Hit me with it, baby. What did the man say?
Thank you so much. He said, "I'd rather watch The View than watch that game." Yeah, hey. I'll sit there and watch some paint dry.
Yeah, I mean, that was a hard, baby. That was one of the hardest games to sit through and watch without us not turning off that game yesterday on our stream. I don't
know how we did it.
On our stream, yeah, we just got through. You guys helped us get through it, honestly. So it was tough. It was real tough. So there you go, baby. I want to know. I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts on Quinn. Give me your last thoughts on Quinn before we move on from this and end the show tonight.
It's time to move on. That's truly my thoughts.
Quinn's time is done.
Yeah, he has done everything he can for us here. We have clearly outgrown our need for Dan Quinn currently, the way that things stand. So, just wish him the best of luck moving forward or whatever, and hopefully he doesn't poach too many of our free agents.
And coaching staff,
True.
Because he'll probably get a couple of these guys that maybe are, Joe Witts and that kind of stuff. So, baby, now, what's the chat saying about this? Before we do the shout-outs and say goodnight, any specific things on Dan Quinn from the chat? Just roll through it and let's see any.
As far as comments, no.
Okay. No, I meant from the chat, real quick.
Oh.
Yeah, if anything, any comments on the chat as far as Dan Quinn specifically?
Let me see. Bill would have none of this shit, said Dallas Cowboy 92.
Agree. Bill Belichick would not.
Mike Aldana said, you're probably ruining Mozzie by making him fluctuate his weight.
Agree. I don't like this at all. We're ruining his career. Yeah.
Let me see. Skeptical said it. They're turning him into Crawford.
Oh, it's Jamal Crawford or Tyron Crawford. Who? There was two of them we fucked with. I hear you. It was Tyrone Crawford he's talking about. Jamal Crawford's a basketball player.
Let me see. I don't see any specific comments there on the kind of Quinn/coaching side of things.
I think we all agree it's time for Quinn to go. I think is the major kind of thought process there. So
yeah, which again, very different from before.
Yeah, he was the main guy there. Yeah, he was the main man.
Some of us thought, McCarthy's gone. Quinn is the
stepping up.
Shoo-in, yeah.
Yeah, Quinn looks like he's done in Big D as well as McCarthy. What did the man Mark Hovsepian dropping another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on it? $5 holler here, baby. As we get the last quotes coming through from you. Mm-hmm. What did the man Mark Hovsepian have to say?
Mozzie had half a sack his entire college career. Dak should have had 4 interceptions, and our team played against a top offense and wide receiver collapse. Let me see. Not sure. Yeah, and our wide receivers collapse. We got annihilated.
Annihilated, but yes. Annihilated.
He said, I'm sore.
Yeah. Listen, Dak should have had. Mahomes should have had 4 interceptions too. Look, I'm just trying to say I don't count the woulda shouldas. But yeah, I know you're saying some chance he throws from Dak. We didn't really say it much. I think we all have to agree that something was wrong with CeeDee Lamb. We talked about it a lot in the stream live yesterday, but you see him here looking at the ground. He was dazed and confused. I've never seen this happen in my life with CeeDee Lamb. So, guys, let me know what you think about CeeDee Lamb. I didn't touch on it too much, but we'll have a lot of time in this week and beyond to touch back on these things. But CeeDee Lamb, love him. We got to sign him. I mean, great receiver, but what happened? Talk about disappearing. Not just on Dak and him were not on the same page, but that ball was hitting his hands, and he was dropping it. He was zombied. He was getting thrown around and just looked at the guy and didn't say anything. McCarthy had to talk to him on the sideline because he was in a daze. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened to this team. I don't know how they could be not. How can they be this not ready?
I don't know.
It's mind blowing to me. Mind blowing.
So, that.
You had some last comments, I think, from some of the players, I think, or was it the coaches?
Yeah, these are some post game comments made by some of our players and some comments from today as well. Real quick, Gilmore just said they started off hot, as in Packers. We weren't able to stop them, especially on the defensive side. We weren't able to get in a rhythm. I think they only punted one time, so that's ultimately what it came down to.
Yeah.
So, and he also was asked, like, hey, what happened? He also said, I don't know. I'm surprised I didn't see it coming. So, Jordan Lewis, another one, with an, I don't know. I'm kind of distraught. You don't know how to feel. We definitely didn't know we'd be feeling this early. We didn't execute at all, and they had our number all day.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis.
They took advantage of us being pretty aggressive, and they did a good job. So, and he said a tiny bit more, right, saying that, it's barely been 24 hours. They're still kind of shocked and just not really over that feeling. Although, again, Lewis was another one to give McCarthy a whole bunch of praise. As he also acknowledged the fact that he's a free agent, unrestricted free agent.
He's going to be gone from the Cowboys. So he may be looking to wherever McCarthy's going next.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even about that. Just in general, he's just feeling very appreciative of being able to have been here and played and all that. So he's
trying to save McCarthy's job. What did he say?
He said his message was that we've got to win. It's the Cowboys. We had everything to win. We can't let this feeling keep going on, so it makes sense. He made it clear that was the point. It didn't matter. He said, this is one of the hardest jobs in America. The quarterback and the head coach of the Cowboys. I feel like McCarthy's done a tremendous job with all things in consideration. Look what happened when he wasn't there. We are struggling to be over 500. We had 3 straight seasons of 12-win games, and I would hope that he would be back.
Damn.
And that was Jordan Lewis. Yeah.
Breaking it down there when it comes to McCarthy. But the man, Mark Hovsepian, he almost single-handedly broke it all down and took the stream boss right back away from any trolls. Much love to the man, Mark Hovsepian. with his $10 holler. What did the man say?
It's easy to throw to open receivers. We get used to our receivers making circus catches. CD was diving for balls. Dak's ball placement was horrible. You couldn't expect to catch balls on your fingertips. That's on Dak.
Nah, man, come on. Mark, there was a play that CeeDee Lamb turned around, the ball hit him in the hands. A couple were little fingertips. The rule I've been taught when I play football, if it hits your hands, it's on you. Now, could Dak have placed it better? Hell yeah. Dak had a horrible game. But there was at least 2 or 3 passes that Dak threw hit CeeDee Lamb in the fucking hands. Not the one across the middle. It was the easy play. The easy play to the outside. It went right through his hands. He turned around and went. I mean, CeeDee Lamb was in a daze. I'm sorry, guys. He was dazed and confused. Something was up with CeeDee Lamb in that game, and he looked horrible. He was out of it. He got shoved out there on the ground by number 23, Jair Alexander, without any kind of even response. He just got shoved to the ground. Barely ran his routes out. I don't know if he got pissed with a coach or with Dak before the game. My goodness. CeeDee Lamb looked like he was on Mars. No way. I disagree with Marco Seppian. 100. He got 100 out of 100 points. And I 100% disagree with that. Yeah, he's fully loaded. But I 100% disagree with that. CeeDee Lamb was in another universe. In the second half, they got him back on Earth. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that.
So, as we continue to kind of hit up the final little comments and things here, did want to take a second, not just to remind everybody to hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily, hop in the Discord, links in the description box. But you will be seeing a few handful of changes here on the MCF side of things, and you guys heard us say this before the game started, so I want to make that clear. It's nothing
to do with the final result of the season,
and everything to do with just regular life stuff happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, time changes when it comes to scheduling of our 9 to 5s.
Jobs changes, that's a big factor here, guys. So expect the live streams at MCF to always, of course, continue on a very regular basis. We might occasionally take one night a week off on the MCF side of things. Although if you want your fix, you might be able to find Mr. MCF on MCF After Dark if you know where to look.
Yeah, guys.
Outside of that, though, guys, you will be seeing a little bit less of MCW. I will be taking a bit of a step back from the MCF side of things. I'm still on that. No, let me make that clear. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I just will not be on every single stream as I normally am, and will be, more of a part-time MCF type of situation as far as like on the actual live stream. So we stream 5-6 times a week. I'll probably be on there about half of the time. Yeah,
you might see it there half the week, and maybe even for some half streams. To get some information or things that come up, that she'll be there the whole week. Of course, regular season. Other times, draft stuff.
Of course, you'll see. Yes,
you get the full dosage of MCW.
There's a little more football stuff going on. You'll obviously be seeing more of me, but unfortunately, yes, life dictates, and the day job dictates that I shift my focus to that a little bit more currently
mainly because of the time change alteration. So, we gotta kind of make sure everyone gets their sleep, and is fully loaded when it comes to the work week, right? Yes. So, what we're trying to say.
Like we said, just, some adjustments here. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not... MCW is not retired. I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. Just making some adjustments there.
And as far as your old man here, MCF, I'll have MCF After Dark. You see, someone just dropped the MCF After Dark eyeballs in there. So go search for him. You'll be able to, jump in there, subscribe, and you'll see me out there a lot. Sometimes, maybe you'll be out there sometimes as well. We'll have some fun with that. It's less cowboy stuff, so if you don't want to talk or see, there's a lot of drama going on there in the YouTube circles and world. A lot of interesting stuff, a lot of great discussions. Some offensive stuff sometimes goes down. It's not for you then, but for those that want to get in there and check it out, it's fun. It's late. I have insomnia, so some nights I just have no choice. Listen to music. Might even have some music reaction opportunities there with you guys choosing some songs or some videos that you make me watch, and I'll give you my reaction, my thoughts live.
So maybe a few of the things that we usually have done throughout the offseason, sometimes here on MCF, we're just kind of transitioning it slightly.
Maybe move some of that over there. We'll do it once in a while here, of course, more Cowboy-centric, but we're going to do it on both sides of things, more relaxed kind of mindset rather than the strict, boom, we got, nonstop news, info, and up. We're going to always have the news, info, and updates, but it's going to be also more relaxed, too. So we're going to have a lot of different changes as this offseason continues.
Yes, and thank you, Mark. Appreciate that with the $2 holler here saying, we will miss you. You're way hotter than Mr. MCF.
I agree with that. Mark and I 100% agree.
Have you seen yourself in a skirt, though?
Never. And,
I know, me either.
I can vouch that if that is the case,
I agree.
you look even hotter.
Will there be cursing? Most definitely.
On where?
On After Dark.
Oh, that's all there is cursing. Yeah, there's cursing. There's music videos. There's all kinds of stuff.
Adult libations.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's panels. People jump up there, talk, discuss their thoughts on.
Listen, you gotta kind of be there and experience it for
it's
yourself.
a whole thing. It's a different world of experiences, and sometimes every time we've done it, it's been crazy. So and it's Mosh and others are involved, and we got panels, we got drinks and other things. But
like we said, the MCF, the part of things is not going anywhere, and I am 110% looking forward to continuing to bitch about our Cowboys throughout the offseason with you guys.
Don't worry,
you'll hear a lot of FCW. I have a feeling we will be doing that quite a bit throughout this offseason.
For sure. Just so you guys know, some people here know about MCF After Dark, but those streams are not rewindable. They're not like DVRable. Yeah. They're only one-time viewing. Basically, as soon as it's done, I gotta delete them or the channel will be taken down and struck down, guys. So this channel is the cool laid-back channel. The other one is it's got the stuff we gotta delete because it probably violates everything in YouTube. So yeah, that's the way it's gonna be there. But it's you gotta watch it as we're live, and it could be at 2, 3, 5 in the morning. You never know. You never know when it's gonna happen there at the After Dark. On that note, though, baby, it's time to go through the names. Shout out everybody in the house as we close it out here for the season. Our rant, I mean, we're exhausted from this fucking game
Justin
yesterday.
D, yes, So, yes, there is definitely some all types of discussions happen over there. So if it's not your thing, it's all good. Again, we keep it football here.
Yeah, over there it's a lot of political stuff that comes up, and whatever it is, God or religion or politics or war, whatever it may be, so things are maybe a little touchy. Things get discussed there. I'm not the one always discussing. A lot of different people from a lot of different areas of the world discussing things that, hey, we might learn.
A lot of different mindsets.
We might learn, we might not like it. So, I could understand that too. So it's just not for everyone. This channel is for every Cowboy fan in the world, but that channel is just MCF After Dark, a little crazier, kind of one-time thing there when we do go live there. But no, this is going to be still the main thing here, guys. 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, easy. You'll be seeing us here throughout from here on out. It's just a little less occasionally, especially in the off season, so we get into our 9 to 5s kind of. With the schedule changes, a little bit more sleep. Let's just say that way. At least the opportunity is there, right? Especially for MCW, who has an earlier, more rigid schedule than I do. So that's the deal that happened. You've been sacrificing the last month after the schedule change on your side,
and with and
it's been
ever
killing
since the new job transition, which literally started right when the season started too. That was interesting. To deal with all at once.
And with the slight changes since then, new year, basically the last couple of last month or so, it's just been a little bit
overwhelming.
A little bit overwhelming with you having, I know, baby, trust me, I know, I've been seeing it, she's been getting less sleep than anybody, so she's been pushing herself. Now she can get normal sleepish stuff, hopefully from here on out. And of course, some days just going to be talking here for hours and hours.
Of course.
You know how it goes. So, baby, on that note, I'm glad we got to discuss everything, good, bad, and ugly on this.
I don't want anybody to wonder, hey, where is
MCW
tonight? But you guys got to do me a favor and make sure to take very good care of Mr. MCF.
Yes.
And hassle him for me while those few nights I'm not here.
Yeah, they know how things go. Sometimes they get crazy, and I'm all flustered here on this side of the screen here. So they keep me on my toes. Everybody in the family here. So appreciate you all.
So with that said, yes, let me go ahead and start the shout-outs like the sponsor of the week, SnugX. You know why he's here. Also, the Cash App King 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, make sure I put him up here because, deserves is just desserts. With the domination, 4 weeks in a row as the Cash App King and taking that sponsor of the week.
Yes, and of course, Marco Seppian.
Speaking of taking it over.
Yeah, took over as a stream boss during today's stream. You saw that live and in action.
Fully loaded.
And a huge shout out to Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical.
Yeah, right up there.
He is the membership gifting king.
Yes, much love. No gifting leader, and no current Cash App leader.
Yeah.
But we do have an overall leader
brand new
right
leader.
now. It's the same man who's repping that stream boss, Mark Hovsepian. Currently in first place on the overall board. But let me also shout out those that dropped the love in here, like Calvin Richard, JD from DC, Chris in the membership, Navy Blue Crew, Green Glassful, even if he's a Niner fan. And hey, we got Truth Bomb, MJ Fowler, C Bass. We'll shout you guys out tomorrow once everything drops through. Thank you guys.
Let me
once
go ahead
again,
and do the shout
for
out here
repping
in
it
the
on
chat,
all
of
these
course.
sides of things. Yes.
Thank you to Justin D, much love. Mike Aldana in the house. Matt Batten, take it easy. Mary Alvarez, oh, you know it. We'll catch you soon.
Yes.
Eugenius Bear, I'm sure a random draft would probably do better. John Connor, hello and hi. Mike Aldana in the house. SD420. We have, let me see, Mark Hovsepian, of course.
Yes.
Orion Files in the house. Even you, Leaside Herald. I Kill. Pierre Land. G. Just G. Gonna see Captain America. Dak is not being traded, no. Texas Twister in the house. Brandon James. Dallas Cowboy 92. Skeptical Fan, always staying skeptical. Jeffrey Donnie. Hopefully I said that right. Bandit 91. James Miles. Let me see. Jerry Jones. Aztec Aguilar 04. And yeah, that's actually more or less as far back as it lets me go. So as I come back down, yeah, that's pretty much everybody here. Guys, again, cannot say how much we appreciate you. The only thing that helps us get through these tough times is the little cowboy family that we have here with you guys.
When it comes to our Cowboys, that is what gets us through. And
we'll be back.
I switched that all at the bottom of the screen, as you can see. Now we got it back to normal again. Unfortunately,
So
we'll see.
now-
A lot of things we'll be discussing here in the next,
Yeah,
of course,
especially
upcoming
as
days.
more
Like the
gets,
coaching stuff is next.
unveiled, right?
Yeah,
Because
coaching
right
is
now,
next.
Yeah, right now we're still kind of in that shell-shocked, holy crap, what happened? But in the next 24 to 48 hours, it's going to be very telling to see how the rest of everything else shakes out.
Definitely,
So,
for sure. And we got to see some changes. We got to see something happen
and
here.
hey, I don't know why they do it, but I know why we do it. And it's that navy blue, that silver too, that star over everything.
No matter what, guys, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, here on this channel, we rep that star over everything. Here on MCF, myself, and MCW, here on My Cowboys Family. Never forget, 6.5+ years, still always repping that star. Before that and after. Never forget, the number one thing here, now, and forever, as always, go Cowboys! Next year, next season, this year, but next season, we got to get that 6 and beyond. Just got to. If it means we got to get Bill Belichick in the bitch, then let's get Bill Belichick in this bitch. That's it. Guys, thank you for dropping your knowledge all night long about this Cowboys and are joining in with us in this rant information session here. We didn't dig deep into analytics or fucking stats. We took the L. Season's over. Nothing else to talk about. And nothing is going to fix it except for some kind of major change. Not necessarily an overhaul, but a major change. You want to go in the right direction, we're going to flounder being a little better than mediocre. That's what we're looking at right now, guys. So thank you for your insight and your thoughts on our Cowboys. Appreciate you guys. Of course, your drops of love from above. It is time to clock out and drop out of here for the night. Probably have to take tomorrow off, guys. We got some other plans going on, but if we get a chance to even drop a quickie, we'll drop in here, of course, give you any updates and information on our Cowboys. Guys, we appreciate you all here. See you back here again for another one here shortly. And guys, before we can drop out of here for the night, baby, let them know what we got to do before we drop out and get on out of here.
We got to drop the beat.
Drop that beat like we got dropped by the goddamn fudge pack and Green Bay Packers. So anyways, it is what it is. We'll see what happens, guys. As far as the After Dark, I do have one plan tonight, but I am so exhausted. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to do it. So we'll see. I might get on there for an hour, just fuck around and try something new. We haven't done it before. A reaction, a video reaction kind of session. We'll see, though. We'll see. Guys, thank you again for ripping it up and rocking with us here on My Cowboys Family as we wrap it up here for another Cowboys chat. This one, unfortunately, the season-ending rant. Had to be done, had to be said. Some truths had to be laid out there. CD, Dak, Micah, who did the best he could. The Packers kicked our ass. A lot of that to do the way Jerry and the Stephen Joneses have been handling things. Dan Quinn's weird defense based on lack of ability of players and lack of players on this defense to do his scheme. And McCarthy. Man, helped a little bit, but man, a lot of regression. A lot of regression. Here in MCF, we try never to regress. It's always about that navy, blue, silver, 2 and star for everything. Never forget the number one thing right here, My Cowboys Family. As always, much love to all. Hit that like button for the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Keep it growing. Almost a little away from 30K. We'll see you again, guys. Hitting that notification bell to all videos and following us at My Cowboys Family at all social media, Twitter, X, etc., Discord. Have a great night, guys, even after this shitty loss. We'll see you back here very soon. Have a good one. Peace out. And never, ever forget, Go Cowboys!